Li Mei's Sword of Destiny. Chapter 1138. The fiery-eyed berserk ape originated from the desolate 10,000 mountain range, and was definitely a greater demon with an extremely high bloodline. Yet it still couldn't sit on the lead seat. One could say that even if over 1,000 supreme geniuses came to the Sacred Academy to listen to the Tao lecture, there wouldn't be many humans or demons who had the qualifications to challenge for the lead seat. "Let me try." A voice rang out. The White Tiger royalty expert Bai Mao stepped out. His cultivation base was at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation. Although his cultivation base wasn't as high as the fiery-eyed berserk ape, the Sacred Academy didn't say that only those with a high cultivation base could sit on the lead seat. As a member of the White Tiger royalty, he naturally had to try. Bai Mao unleashed his king-grade bloodline, exuding a terrifying might. With a thunderous boom, Bai Mao stepped onto the lead seat. Another burst of astral light flooded the area as a shadow appeared. The White Tiger Demon King howled madly as a terrifying might of the Great Tao bore down on him, wanting to crush his body. The White Tiger Demon King roared madly as the might of the Great Tao bore down on him, wanting to break his body apart. The White Tiger Demon King wanted to resist the might of the Great Tao, but he was still unable to do so. He was slammed onto the ground by a gigantic palm imprint, just like the fiery-eyed berserk ape. Bai Mao stood up with an unsightly expression on his face. As a member of the White Tiger royal race, he actually also managed to sit on the lead seat. After that, the other greater demons tried one after another, yet none of them succeeded. From the celestial palace, a devilishly handsome figure walked out. He exuded an extraordinary aura as he stood on the lead seat, exuding an unexcelled demeanor. However, not long after, he also failed to change his fate. The experts from the Beast God sect were the same as well. Even though they had unrivaled taming beasts, it was all useless. This seat was the true leader of all the demons. None of them could sit on it. Abruptly, an extremely violent and sharp chi permeated the air. The spectators turned their gazes over and saw a silhouette soaring up into the sky. His golden wings were incomparably resplendent. Each and every feather was as sharp as a sword, exuding an ancient mysteriousness and power. The king of our race. The experts of the Tianpeng people all had solemn looks on their faces, as though they were waiting for Jia Nantian to ascend to the lead seat. This was his king, and in the future he would also become the king of all demons, commanding all demons in the world and conquering the desolate 10,000 mountain range. Jia Nantian reverted to his true form, a terrifying golden-winged great rock. His eyes were filled with loftiness, gleaming with a terrifying light. With a flash of his silhouette, he was like a bolt of golden lightning, instantly appearing on the leader's seat. Brilliant light illuminated the skies, enveloping his body as a scene appeared. Jia Nantian howled at the heavens as his bloodline erupted forth. In that scene, divine might descended upon this world, wanting to destroy everything. Over there was a great pung that was tens of thousands of zhang in size. Its wings hacked out, splitting apart heaven and earth, hacking down on the divine might heavenly Tao, wishing to contend against heavenly might. All the experts could sense the world-shaking collision. That golden-winged rock was like a golden-winged rock king, wanting to slash apart the heavenly Tao. However, the heavenly Tao was terrifying. A supreme palm imprint blasted over, wanting to destroy everything, wanting to kill the golden-winged rock king. A raging wind gusted. The wings of the golden-winged rock king flapped, seemingly capable of traversing through space, fleeing from the heavenly Tao. However, that palm imprint was too terrifying. It chased after him. There was no way for him to escape. The golden-winged rock king turned and shuttled through the air. His wings slashed out, causing rumbling sounds to ring out. In that scene, even the heavenly Tao seemed to be trembling. In fact, cracks even appeared on the surface of the heavenly Tao. But even so, the golden-winged rock king was still destroyed. Jia Nantian groaned in misery as he was forced back. His wings flapped, and before he even landed on the ground, he soared up into the air. His lofty eyes stared at the lead seat before him as he spoke. The might of the heavenly Tao. If one doesn't have a saint-grade bloodline, they wouldn't be able to slash apart the heavenly Tao. No demon can sit on this seat. Jia Nantian's tone was filled with a tyrannical might, exuding an aura of supremacy. It was as though there was something he couldn't do, No human or demon here would be able to do it. Such an aura, it was as though he was unrivaled under the heavens. Another violent figure stepped out. Another person walked up to the lead seat and the scene appeared once more. An ancient greater demon of the desolate mountains, Kueox, soared through the air, wanting to break free from the restraints of the heavenly Tao. However, the golden-winged rock Jianantian failed to do this. He also failed and was blasted down from the lead seat. Boom! A heavy sound rang out as a young man exuding boundless energy walked out. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. This young man was none other than a greater demon from the Dragon Island. A terrifying demonic dragon. This demonic dragon young man stepped onto the lead seat. A scene appeared as a terrifying demonic dragon appeared. This demonic dragon was actually a fire dragon. It blasted towards the Tao energy. Its gigantic body contained boundless energy, and after a series of collisions, the heavenly Tao trembled from the impact. However, it was still unable to destroy the Tao energy. Finally, it could only end up like Jianantian, being blasted down from the lead seat. The expressions of everyone turned solemn as they fell silent. Seems like the opening of the Sacred Academy for the lecture on the Tao. No one could sit on the lead seat. Most probably, only greater demons with pure-blooded saint-ranked bloodlines would be able to sit on it. Nam Huang Yunqi mumbled. It was simply too difficult to sit on the lead seat. The lecture on the Tao in the Sacred Academy had yet to begin, but it already taught all the supreme geniuses a deep lesson. Do you want to go and try? Qin Wentian glanced at Little Rascal beside him as he asked. Little Rascal was also extraordinary. He had no idea what sort of demon it was. Nope, even if I sat on the lead seat, I would still be killed by jealousy. Little Rascal shook his head. His words causing Qin Wentian to smile. Little Rascal was getting smarter and smarter. Even if he really sat on the lead seat, what sort of existences were there? Most probably, the Sacred Academy would never have a day of peace again. There was a difference in the order of comprehending the Tao, but there was no difference in the order of obtaining the Tao. For the lead seat at the front, it was fine for them to fight for it. Right now, Qin Wentian had no interest at all. Maybe one day when he was interested, he would go and fight for it. Since no one could sit on the lead seat, the two seats in the second row became the seats closest to the front. They would be able to listen to the lecture from a very close distance. Most probably, these two seats weren't so easy to sit on. All the supreme geniuses were staring at them. In addition, it wasn't certain if they would be able to sit on the lead seat or not. The 3,000 immortal seats cannot be snatched after you sit down. A voice rang out, causing the gazes of everyone to stiffen. For these 3,000 seats, as long as you were the first to sit down, the others wouldn't be able to snatch it away. Whoever sat down first would be able to listen to the lecture on the Tao. Boom! Another expert from the White Tiger royalty stepped out. His cultivation base was extremely terrifying. At the 8th level of Immortal Foundation, he walked towards the second seat. The experts from the Tao of Dragon, Sky Scorpion race and the other greater demons all moved over, wanting to snatch the second seat. King. The experts from the Tianpeng people stared at the golden-winged rock Jianantian. If no one can sit on the lead seat, the second seat would become the lead seat. How can it be so easy to sit on these two seats? If they can sit on it, so what if I don't change my position? Jianantian spoke in arrogance. He didn't try to snatch it away. Other than him, there were still other greater demons who didn't try to snatch it away. The White Tiger royalty expert and the fiery-eyed berserk ape stepped out at the same time. With a thunderous roar, baleful Qi towered up into the sky as his king imprint appeared, wanting to force the fiery-eyed berserk ape to retreat. However, the fiery-eyed berserk ape merely roared and reverted to its true form. The 3,000 seats were all very far apart from each other. Even if its true form appeared, it wouldn't take up too much space. The baleful Qi of kings clashed against the pair of fiery eyes, their might shaking the heavens. The two greater demons moved towards each other at the same time. The White Tiger King was enveloped by baleful Qi, while the fire-eyed berserk ape was engulfed in flames. Both of them punched out, causing a thunderous might to blast outwards, transforming into a terrifying tempest. The greater demon with a lower cultivation base was directly swept away. Even if this was a contest for the immortal seat, there was no place for demons with a lower cultivation base. The two greater demons retreated at the same time. Their eyes stared at each other, as though they weren't willing to give way. However, on the immortal seat beside them, the fire dragon from before had already ascended and was fighting against the power of the seat. However, the greater demons behind discovered that even if it was the second seat, the demonic fire dragon was having a hard time fighting against it. After a series of clashes, the fire dragon was blasted off the seat. Was it so easy to sit on the second seat? This caused the white tiger royalty and the fiery-eyed berserk ape to halt their battle as their expressions stiffened. The silhouette of the white tiger royalty flashed as he ascended the seat. This time around, the fiery-eyed berserk ape didn't obstruct him, allowing him to ascend to the second seat. Ultimately, the white tiger royalty was blasted off the seat, causing everyone to be in a daze. After that, the fiery-eyed berserk ape also failed. In the grounds of the Sacred Academy, they didn't even have the qualifications to sit on the second seat. After that, the experts of the various powers tried again, but all of them failed. Jianantian finally ascended the immortal seat once more. The lofty and arrogant golden-winged rock king appeared on the screen once again, clashing against the power of the great Tao. His wings slashed through the skies, shuttling through space, and after a heaven-shaking collision, he actually managed to slash apart the great Tao. A brilliant beam of light shot out as Jianantian sat on the second seat. His entire body was surrounded by astral light, incomparably resplendent. That immortal seat belonged to him. As expected, the golden-winged great rocks of the Tianpeng people are much rarer compared to the royals of the white tiger people. Their bloodlines are much more noble. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice when he saw this scene. The only golden-winged great rocks of the Tianpeng people here was Jianantian. However, there were several royals of the white tiger people. Even for the demons from the Dragon Islands, their bloodlines were much weaker compared to the golden-winged great rocks. After all, the royals of the Dragon Islands weren't here. As for the golden-winged great rocks, they were the paragon royals of the Tianpeng people. Although we can't sit on the first seat, we can't be too far back either. You guys go and claim the first 10 rows of seats. As for which seat you want, it's up to you. Qin Wentian spoke to the experts of the Battle Saint tribe. They nodded and stepped out. Let's go as well. Qin Wentian, Nam Huang Yunxi and the others also stepped out, moving forward. You guys also want the seats at the front? The experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom stared at Qin Wentian and the others. Both sides were originally at loggerheads, but before this there was no conflict between them. But now that they were seizing the immortal seats, these experts of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom seemed to have the intention to target Qin Wentian. Chapter 1139. Qin Wentian laughed as he stared at the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. He then spat out a single word, scram. As the sound of his voice faded, the experts from the Battle Saint tribe all stepped forward. The experts from the Namhuang clan stood beside them, exuding a tyrannical aura that bore down on the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. Their expressions kept on changing as they stared at Qin Wentian and the others, only to see Qin Wentian stepping forward, ignoring the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, as he walked towards the first 10 rows. There were 3,000 immortal seats here, listening to the Tao lecture. Even if one wasn't too outstanding, it was impossible for them to sit at the back. However, at this moment, many experts also moved towards the front row. These experts all had outstanding talent and extraordinary strength. They knew that they had no way to obtain the seats at the front, but they still had to occupy a spot at the very least. For example, the White Tiger people, Tianpeng people, and the Scorpion King race. When they stepped forward, they wanted to monopolize the seats at the front, not allowing others to join them. No humans or demons would be willing to sit at the back of others and be placed at the back. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe stepped out at the same time, each of them moving towards an immortal seat. However, it was destined that they would have to compete with many experts. For a period of time, the atmosphere in this entire space suddenly turned violent. Starting from the third row, the closer you are to the front, the more intense the competition would be. Qin Wentian could sense that there were already experts fighting against each other. He shook his head lightly. People of the martial path have always been competitive. Most probably, there was no way for this competition to be peaceful. He stepped out, but he didn't choose a seat at the front. He only moved towards a seat at the 9th row, but at this moment, a beautiful female blocked his path. She laughed. That seat is mine. This female was clad in a red armor. Her snow-white skin was exposed, and even her cleavage was faintly discernible. She had a head full of soft red hair, exuding a sense of demonic beauty. Clearly, her original form was that of a demon. In addition, she was a snake and scorpion beauty, an expert from the Scorpion King race. Young master, please let me have him. This sexy scorpion beauty laughed and walked towards the immortal seat. Qin Wentian laughed. It wasn't easy for me to find a seat, but there are people fighting over the other seats. I can only choose this seat. As he spoke, he walked towards the immortal seats. The two of them moved with extreme speed. The scorpion beauty smiled. Her alluring figure caused people to not dare to make a move against her. After that, her snow-white palm stretched out, transforming into a sharp beam of red light. Qin Wentian laughed. His body seemed to be clad in armor as runic light circulated around him. His physique was incomparably tyrannical. He allowed the red beam of light to land on him as he pointed a finger at his opponent. However, he only saw the scorpion beauty pushing her voluptuous bosom forward as her eyes gleamed coquettishly. Qin Wentian started. His fingers turned into a palm and blasted out, forcing the scorpion beauty back. After that, he landed on the immortal seat. Little brother, you are making me feel uncomfortable. The scorpion beauty stared at Qin Wentian, yet she still had a smile on her face, as expected of a venomous beauty. Earlier, if the red beam of light she used on Qin Wentian had truly penetrated through Qin Wentian's body, the poison would have instantly seeped into Qin Wentian's body. However, she still had a charming smile on her face. Qin Wentian laughed. An image appeared in the air as a mystical and terrifying pressure bore down on Qin Wentian's soul. The image appeared in the air, wanting to kill Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's will was extremely powerful, transforming into the body of a divinity. His true martial body floated in the air as God's hand blasted out, destroying everything. After that, astral light flashed, protecting his body. This immortal seat belonged to him. As long as he sat here and didn't leave, no one else would be able to snatch it away from him. In the second row, there were two immortal seats. One of them was occupied by the powerful Jia Nantian, while the other was seized by a demonic beast that didn't attract any attention earlier. This demonic beast was extremely terrifying. It was a devil lion that originated from the desolate 10,000 mountain range. It was a demonic beast of a mutated species, a descendant of a fearsome devil bird and a golden lion king. It had wings, and when it reverted to its true form, it was covered in dark golden armor and could be said to have an indestructible body. The purity of its bloodline was shocking, and its roar could shatter mountains and rivers, tearing apart space. Many people sighed inwardly. Demonic beasts from the desolate 10,000 mountain range were indeed rare. There were some terrifying and rare races. This demonic lion had inherited two terrifying bloodlines and fused them into one, allowing it to possess the void ability of that demonic bird, as well as the terrifying defense and devouring power of the Golden Lion King. It could be said to be a rare demonic beast king. As for the third row, there were three immortal seats. An expert from the White Tiger people obtained one, a demonic dragon from the Western Sea Dragon Island obtained another, and the last one was seized by the fiery-eyed berserk ape. Earlier, he only managed to snatch that seat after going on a rampage. Even though it was only the third row, it wasn't an easy seat to sit on. The battles for the fourth and fifth rows were extremely intense. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe and the Namhuang clan all acted to seize their own seats. To the experts from the Battle Saint tribe, since Qin Wentian didn't want to attract too much attention, they all chose to seize the seats from the 5th to the 10th row. Although they weren't the peak-tier immortal seats at the very front, they were still considered high-grade seats. Qin Wentian discovered that the Celestial Palace, Beast God Sect, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, these peak human powers all gave up on seizing the seats at the very front. Compared to the demonic beasts, they were more low-profile and weren't as tyrannical as the demonic beasts. In this sacred academy, there were more demonic beasts compared to the human Wu Xiao. However, among these major powers, there were definitely some extremely powerful characters who had yet to reveal themselves. Qin Wentian heard that the Beast God Sect from the Great Snow Mountain was the king of beasts. If someone said that the people from the Beast God Sect didn't want to subdue some supreme greater demons from the demon world, Qin Wentian didn't believe it. However, they didn't act before in the Sacred Academy, appearing to be low profile and mysterious. If the Beast God sect really dared to do something in the Sacred Academy, they would definitely attract the hatred of the various demon races. The Beast God sect should be very clear about this point. Demons that could enter the Sacred Academy were all not to be trifled with. The immortal seats at the front were all occupied by people one after another. Gradually, the number of people competing for the seats at the back grew fewer and fewer. There was no point in fighting for the seats at the back. Finally, when everything calmed down, over 1,000 of the 3,000 immortal seats were occupied as they quietly stared ahead. The opening of the Sacred Academy and the lecture on the Tao, they were all very curious. What kind of Tao was it exactly? Would it be of any help to their cultivation? That silhouette before them was still sitting there silently, without any signs of life. He was like a statue, but everyone still believed that this was a living person and not a statue. This place was the Tiandao Sacred Academy. How could a statue lecture on the Tao? Close your eyes and focus. An ethereal voice drifted over from the void. As the sound of this voice faded, everyone felt a sense of tranquility as they involuntarily stopped their commotion and quietened down. They followed the instructions of the voice and closed their eyes, focusing their minds. The thousands of immortal seats were incomparably silent. Not a single sound could be heard. Gradually, above the constellations, astral light flashed. At this moment, everyone felt as though they were no longer in the Sacred Academy, but in the boundless void instead. You can open your eyes now. The ethereal voice drifted over again. Everyone opened their eyes as their expressions froze. At this moment, they were actually no longer in the Sacred Academy, but in the boundless starry space instead. In addition, they were still seated on their respective immortal seats as boundless astral light cascaded down from the sky. These constellations were akin to constellations from the 9 heavenly layers, with a myriad of shapes and sizes. A resplendent light cascaded down on everyone. Before them, that statue seemed to have opened its eyes, condensing into an ethereal silhouette. This silhouette exuded no aura at all, but it was precisely because of this that everyone felt a sense of terror. The strength of this silhouette had far surpassed their imaginations. This time around, the opening of the Tiandao Sacred Academy will be the first 12 years. In the future, every 12 years, the Tiandao Sacred Academy will have an opportunity to lecture on the Tao. That silhouette slowly spoke. Everyone had a feeling that this opportunity was extremely rare. They had to do their best to comprehend every single sentence of the silhouette and improve themselves. Immortal Foundation experts use the law energy of immortals to condense their immortal foundations, cultivating law energy of different attributes to raise the might of their immortal foundations. However, do you all know where the law energy of heaven and earth originates from? That silhouette slowly spoke, asking everyone. I heard that there's origin energy in heaven and earth. These law energies are all formed from the origin energy. When we cultivate, we are merely improving bit by bit. In my inherited memories, the ancestor of my race was born from the origin energy and transformed into a golden-winged rock king. He wasn't bound by the heavenly Taos, and with a flap of his wings, he could cleave the heavenly Taos apart. With a flap of his wings he could soar through space. The Tianpeng people king spoke in an incomparably tyrannical manner, wanting to pursue the path of their ancestor and become an existence like that. You can say that. However, what you said is too far away. Even if you are a pure-blooded golden-winged rock king, it's impossible for you to directly control this energy. You still have to rely on your own comprehension. That silhouette seemed to have sensed the arrogance in Jiao Nanshan's heart. He slowly spoke, wanting to persuade Jiao Nantian to be down to earth and cultivate step by step. Junior understands senior's meaning. Jiao Nantian respectfully spoke. Although he was the Tianpeng people king, he didn't dare to be arrogant. The him now, this expert before him could crush him like an ant. No matter how strong the ancestor was, he ultimately wasn't him. However, a pure-blooded demonic beast like you does indeed have an innate advantage. You have innate talent, and as long as you grow step by step, you would naturally be able to become an immortal emperor. Such talent would cause many demons and humans to be filled with jealousy. However, this talent is also a type of restriction. Your path of growth is already destined. You have to walk down the path of your ancestor. Compared to demonic beasts, humans are much more flexible. That expert spoke. Everyone could understand this point. Naturally, this was only when compared to extraordinary characters. Ordinary characters could only look up to the back of their necks. Chapter 1140. In the starry space, everyone sat on their immortal seats as they quietly listened. Humans are known as the spirits of the myriad of living beings, receiving the blessings of the heavens and earth. Their perception can be raised through cultivation, allowing them to find an astral soul that is most suitable for them. They have many choices, and even if their ancestors were exceedingly powerful and passed down a powerful elemental bloodline to them, they would still be able to choose a path of their own, cultivating another path. It's different for demons. You want the golden winged rock to comprehend water attribute energy? Is this appropriate? The higher the grade of the demonic beast, the more powerful their inheritance would be. On the contrary, for some ordinary demons, they wouldn't receive too much inheritance from their ancestors and would be able to walk their own path. There's a saying that there are always losses when there are gains. This is the logic behind it. No matter who you are, you have to see yourself clearly and not underestimate yourself. When you blindly feel jealousy and envy the strength and talent of those greater demons, you would have already lost yourself. Those who can sit here are all extraordinary characters. Although you might have to look up to the golden-winged rock or the dragon race now, there might be a day when your mount would be a golden-winged rock or a demonic dragon. This isn't impossible. That expert slowly spoke. As the saying goes, even if it's some ordinary logic, when spoken by this expert, the weight of his words would be sufficient. Even the golden-winged rock and the dragon race experts didn't dare to interrupt. In addition, the voice of this expert seemed to contain a strange magical power, akin to the sound of a morning bell, wanting to wake everyone up from their stupor. Law is actually the law of heaven and earth. It's also a kind of order. In the world you all live in the boundless starry space, there are countless constellations in the 9 heavenly layers. Each constellation contains an unfathomable amount of energy. The stronger you are, the more you would be able to sense the power of these constellations. The existence of countless constellations is the law of heaven and earth, allowing this world to exist under the law of different attributes. And the existence of living beings is the process of comprehending, cultivating, controlling, and even transforming into a law. Until one day you are able to create your own law, creating your own law in this world. His voice drifted into the ears of the experts here, causing their hearts to tremble. They could faintly sense that the words spoken by Qin Wentian were extremely close to the truth of this world, the truth of the heavens and earth. No one knows what rules were born when the world was first formed, but even if we trace back to the era when the world was first formed, the power of rules would definitely not have evolved to such perfection as it is now. There are rules of all attributes and you have countless choices to choose from. I believe that this must have been created by living beings. In our world, the rules of heaven, earth, water, fire, and earth are everywhere, and they are the most common rules. Perhaps it is because of their existence that this world is constructed, or perhaps it is because living beings who cultivate in these types of rules are the most common, and there are many supreme experts who constantly forge these rules to make them mature. Have you ever thought that in the endless starry sky, there are some worlds that are created by special laws of energy? For example, sometimes only spatial energy exists, and those worlds are not suitable for humans or demonic beasts to live in. However, experts can use it to gain enlightenment. There are also some worlds where a certain energy is especially prominent. For example, the energy of metal. This has led to the entire continent cultivating the energy of metal, causing it to multiply to the extreme. This point was very easy for all the experts to understand. It was like some major powers cultivating a certain type of energy. It's just that they magnified it to a whole world. These words sounded like ordinary logic when they heard it, but it was the simplest version of the Great Tao. Without sufficient knowledge and experience, it was impossible for them to say it out loud. At this moment, Qin Wentian was thinking about how many worlds there were in this boundless world. Were the 33 immortal realms really the only worlds? In that case, for those places where immortal emperors couldn't reach, where did the ancient emperors go to? These words of the simplest version of the Great Tao were sufficient to make everyone ponder about the existence of the world, ponder about the essence of cultivation, and ponder about the origin of law energy. Although it seems simple, it would definitely be of great use to the future cultivation of these experts. Everyone sank into contemplation as they quietly listened. The words of the other party were ethereal, bringing everyone into the true world of cultivation. After a long time, everyone slowly closed their eyes. They felt as though they had entered the boundless starry space, sitting in the midst of countless constellations. Each constellation contained a powerful law energy, but because they weren't proficient in that law energy, it was very difficult for them to absorb it. But even so, they could still clearly sense it. This feeling was extremely wondrous, causing them to be unwilling to wake up. In their minds, the voice of the great Tao rang out. These words were like the voice of the great Tao. The so-called Tao recitation wasn't empty talk. Maybe only now would they understand why listening to the words of the great Tao surpassed 10 years of cultivation. Even after the voice of the great Tao stopped, the experts still hadn't awoken. The voice of the great Tao continued to reverberate in their minds, causing them to ponder and ponder. The words of this expert were sufficient to cause many experts to ponder for the rest of their lives. All of them entered a wondrous state, forgetting time, forgetting where they were. The voice of the great Tao circulated around them, and in their imaginations, their bodies seemed to be situated in the boundless starry space, pondering, comprehending, or cultivating. In fact, there were even some experts who had astral light cascading down on them. They were unknowingly cultivating, and their cultivation speed was extremely fast. It was like they had entered the state of enlightenment that stellar martial cultivators yearned for even in their dreams. Such a state could only be discovered by chance and not sought. However, the Tao recitation by the Sacred Academy had actually caused all the experts to enter such a state. In the vast immortal realms, it was unknown if there were any other experts who could achieve this. The disciples of these peak powers, the supreme experts of their clans and clans, all didn't have such an extraordinary ability. Qin Wentian quietly sat on his immortal seat. From the start till the end, he didn't say a single word and was quietly listening. At this moment, a brilliant light circulated around him. His terrifying body shone with fiend god light as the light of truth shone brilliantly. If he continued to cultivate like this, the growth speed of his body might very well surpass immortal foundation, and he would be able to use his body to form a body of laws. Astral light cascaded down. Amidst the boundless constellations, he seemed to be able to sense his constellations and was summoning energy from them. After hearing the Tao recitation by the Sacred Academy, a strange feeling appeared in his heart. It felt like the energy of his constellations had all grown stronger. Each constellation contained a terrifying amount of law energy, allowing him to directly break through to immortal foundation. Even his cultivation speed would be boosted. In the starry space, an ethereal figure quietly stared at everyone. At this moment, the light radiating from one of the immortal seats gradually dimmed. That immortal seat actually began to flow, moving towards the back to the last position. In the next instant, the light radiating from that immortal seat vanished as he opened his eyes. Ooh! At the instant that person opened his eyes, he drew in a deep breath and stared at the scene before him. It felt like everything he experienced earlier in the starry space was an illusion. The 3,000 immortal seats in the Sacred Academy, as well as that unmoving statue, were the real world. My cultivation seems to have improved a little. He silently mused as he sensed the power of his immortal foundation. Not only so, the most important thing was the change in his state of heart. This time around, the Tao recitation by the Sacred Academy benefited him greatly. My seat. He glanced to his left and right. His immortal seat had actually shifted and was now at the back. The others were still immersed in their cultivation and had yet to wake up. Upon seeing this scene, he couldn't help but to feel a sense of pity. He had already been in a state of enlightenment for 3 months, and it was actually the shortest. The others were still in a state of enlightenment. In that case, his harvest might be the smallest. Sighing silently in his heart, he didn't leave but continued to close his eyes in cultivation, trying to comprehend the great Tao spoken of by that expert, hoping that his strength and state of heart would grow stronger. Time slowly flowed by. More and more people woke up and discovered that their seats had changed. They didn't disturb the others and continued to cultivate in peace. Within the Sacred Academy, everyone felt that this place was extremely holy, and no one dared to be impudent. A year passed and more than half of the people had already woken up. Yet no one left. 2 years later, more than half of the people had already woken up, yet no one left. Gradually, as the immortal seats shifted, only those in the top 10 rows were still cultivating. Being able to comprehend for such a long period of time, it was clear that their improvements were extremely great. For those who had already woken up, many of them had their cultivation bases improved, breaking through to the next level. The comprehension abilities of these people are extraordinary. After listening to the lecture of that expert, it took them a long time to comprehend. Someone stared ahead as he spoke. Next, even for those in the top 10 rows, there were more and more people who had woken up, as their seats shifted again. 3 years later, the various experts woke up one after another. Namhuang Yunxi, Nanfeng Shunga and the others all woke up, as well as the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. At this moment, only those in the top 5 rows remained. Nanfeng Yunxi's beautiful eyes stared at Qin Wentian's silhouette. He was now at the end of the 5th row. Most probably, even Qin Wentian himself didn't know that he was already at the 5th row. The experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom stared at Qin Wentian with unsightly expressions on their faces. This fellow's talent was at the peak. His comprehension abilities were extraordinary, and his potential was terrifying. The Tenlon Heaven Kingdom only had one person remaining in the 4th row. They had to persist on and not be surpassed by Qin Wentian. At this moment, Qin Wentian radiated a terrifying energy. Divine light circulated around him as a supreme aura cascaded down from the sky. Unknowingly, his cultivation base grew stronger, stepping into the 4th level of Immortal Foundation. This was the second time his cultivation base rose after he entered the Sacred Academy. Namhuang Yunxi's beautiful eyes flashed with a smile. It wasn't strange for Qin Wentian's cultivation base to rise. During the moment of enlightenment, many people had their cultivation bases improved as well, including her. Qin Wentian's cultivation base originally wasn't high. He was only at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. It was relatively easy for him to raise his cultivation base, and it was only logical that he stepped into the 4th level now. 3 years of enlightenment was equivalent to tens of years of cultivation. Chapter 1141. However, even after breaking through, Qin Wentian still hadn't woken up. It was like he had unintentionally broken through, and broke through involuntarily in a state of enlightenment. Another person shifted his position, appearing behind Qin Wentian. As for the experts behind him, they all shifted forward by one position. At this moment, Qin Wentian seemed to be floating in the midst of the boundless constellations, listening to the melody of the great Tao, akin to the morning bell and drum of the evening drum, comprehending the energy of the heavens and the laws of the constellations. He could sense that within these constellations, there were countless attribute energies. Naturally, there were also many constellations with similar attributes. At the Immortal Foundation realm, one would cultivate their Immortal Foundation, cultivating law energy. When their Immortal Foundation and Immortal Energy reached perfection, their law energy would be cultivated to the extreme, allowing them to break through to the Immortal King realm. As for Immortal Kings, they were the so-called immortal bodies of laws. They were a part of the laws of heaven and earth and contained even more power. They could easily decide the life and death of a particle world. When the heavens and earth were first formed, law energy was born. At that time, the various experts searched for their own paths, achieving supreme accomplishments. However, no one knew how many eras this world had existed for. The constellations in the sky formed the laws of heaven and earth, and the cultivation of the martial path had long been refined to the extreme by the predecessors. The vast majority of people could only follow the path of their predecessors, and only a very few could walk out their own path. Without guidance, a path that didn't exist, laws that didn't exist, how could one walk on it? It was too difficult. Qin Wentian listened to the logic of the great Tao, and even pondered about how the heavens and earth were formed. How were the constellations in the sky born? If there was a day when one could create laws, would that be the realm of an ancient emperor? At that time, would he be creating the laws of his predecessors or creating his own laws? In the boundless starry space, Qin Wentian felt that he was incomparably tiny. The light from the constellations cascaded down on him as a divine glow radiated from him. Qin Wentian could sense that with his fiend god body refinement art, his bloodline God's hand, and now that he was cultivating the art of truth, if he continued cultivating like this, his body would definitely become a body of laws. Of course, these were just principles. Even if one understood the principles, they would still need to rely on the accumulation of cultivation to reach that step. The deeper one's understanding of the principles and the better one did, the smoother and faster one's path of cultivation would be. The path of cultivation starts from absorbing astral energy, slowly moving upwards until I step into the immortal realm and comprehend laws. Only then can I be considered to have truly stepped onto the path of the great Tao. Immortal foundation is the beginning of cultivation. Comprehension, cultivation, control, incarnation, forging step by step, forming the Tao. My fleshly body is a fusion body. It can also form my own path of cultivation, allowing me to use my own body to form the Tao. Qin Wentian mused silently as he sank into contemplation. After several days of contemplation, Qin Wentian's seat in the Sacred Academy was now in the third row. At the very end, only 5 people were still cultivating. The other experts had all awoken from their state of enlightenment. At this moment, the seat of that expert from the dragon race shifted, swapping places with Qin Wentian. He opened his eyes and saw that there were still 4 other people cultivating. Among these 4, 2 of them came up later. They were Qin Wentian and an expert from the Beast God sect. That expert from the Beast God sect exuded a mysterious aura, and his cultivation base was extremely high. Other than the 2 of them, there was also the golden-winged great rock Jianantian and the demonic lion. After several days, the expert from the Beast God sect and the demonic lion woke up one after another. Qin Wentian was already seated in the second row, side by side with the golden-winged great rock Jianantian. The Tianpeng people, the White Tiger people, the experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom were all staring at the back view of Qin Wentian. This fellow actually cultivated to this point and was still immersed in his comprehension. Evidently, Qin Wentian was still digesting the insights of the great Tao spoken by that expert. Only by continuously comprehending them would he be able to continue cultivating. When Jianantian opened his eyes, all the immortal seats were rearranged. The experts all moved forward. Qin Wentian sat at the head of the 3,000 immortal seats. Although no one else was able to ascend to the lead seat earlier, after the Tao lecture ended, everyone still had to take a look at the Tao fruits. There was bound to be someone who could ascend to the lead seat. Jianantian and the demonic lion were still tied for the second position. Their eyes stared at Qin Wentian as their demonic eyes gleamed with a dazzling light. However, Qin Wentian still hadn't awoken. After several months, Qin Wentian's aura finally calmed down. When he opened his eyes, he was stunned for a moment only to see that there were no more immortal seats before him. Only the statue was there. Qin Wentian only felt numerous gazes landing on him. After understanding what was going on, Qin Wentian couldn't help but to laugh involuntarily. Initially, he had no intentions to contend for the immortal seats in front of him, and felt that it was of no importance. But who would have thought that the moment he woke up, he would already be seated at the head of the 3,000 immortal seats, attracting countless gazes. Over 1,000 experts still hadn't left. During the Tao lecture, they truly felt how terrifying that mysterious expert was. They deeply felt the mysteriousness of the Sacred Academy, and would rather stay here to cultivate, not wanting to miss out on even a single sentence. Now 3 years have already passed. When the 12-year period is up, the Sacred Academy will reopen. At that time it will naturally summon all of you. Come again then. Go. An ethereal voice drifted over. Everyone felt some reluctance to leave. Although the Tao lecture this time around wouldn't allow them to instantly transform, it was sufficient to influence their future cultivation, and even their final achievements. Such a Tao lecture was something they wouldn't get tired of listening to 100 times. Even if they were to stay here for 8 to 10 years, they wouldn't have any objections. More and more people stood up from their seats and turned to leave. Qin Wentian stood up and stretched his body. Just as he turned, he saw Little Rascal leaping onto his back. Little Rascal was still as lazy as ever. It was like a pet, completely unlike a demon immortal. Not bad, the top immortal seat. In just 3 years, your cultivation base has already stepped into the 4th level of immortal foundation. You must have reaped great rewards this time around. Nam Huang Yunqi stared at Qin Wentian as she gently spoke. Luckily my cultivation base is low. Hence it was easier for me to break through. Qin Wentian shrugged and smiled. There's no need to be humble. Back then when you joined the Namhuang clan, you were only at the first level of Immortal Foundation. Princess Qin's cultivation speed is truly enviable. Nanfengxinga gently smiled. Qin Wentian stared at her. Didn't you also break through? Also, this time around there seems to be quite a number of people who broke through as well. The Tao lecture in the Sacred Academy, a few years of enlightenment is equivalent to many years of cultivation. The people from the Namhuang clan and Battle Saint tribe all walked over. Purgatory also quietly followed behind Qin Wentian as they walked forward. Everyone descended the stairway, and occasionally, there would be gazes directed in Qin Wentian's direction. Clearly, because Qin Wentian was ranked first, he had attracted a lot of attention. Over 1,000 experts walked down the stairway at the same time. Many groups gathered together and chatted. The experts from the Tianpeng people seemed to be discussing something with Jia Nantian. Jia Nantian, who was at the front, glanced over at Qin Wentian. As a golden-winged great rock, Jia Nantian's gaze was extremely invasive. Just a single glance from him would cause people to feel extremely uncomfortable. Qin Wentian turned his gaze over. He saw a pair of lofty golden-winged rock king, wanting to cleave apart the heavenly Tao and soar through the starry space. Jia Nantian's ambition was even higher than the heavens. Sadly, my cultivation base is too low. If not, I can spar with him. Jia Nantian mumbled to himself. After that, he turned his gaze ahead and stared at a figure not far away from him. You are the descendant of the traitor of the Tianpeng people, the Sky Devil Rock. The eyes of the Devil Lion turned sharp as he stared at Jia Nantian. Jia Nantian was indeed the descendant of the Sky Devil Rock. He then coldly spoke. The Sky Devil Rock formed his own bloodline. What does that have to do with your Tianpeng people? The entire rock race belongs to our Tianpeng people, and we serve the golden-winged great rock as our king. There's a rumor in ancient times that the ancestor of the Sky Devil Rock wanted to contend against the golden-winged great rock for the throne, and was defeated. Hence he betrayed the Tianpeng people. Jia Nantian's calm voice was filled with an intense aggressiveness. That's just something your golden-winged great rock race made up. The Devil Lion spoke with cold arrogance. I, the golden-winged great rock, have unparalleled speed and can pierce through space. The Sky Devil Rock is the only one among the Tianpeng people who can challenge the position of the golden-winged great rock. You have half of the bloodline of the Sky Devil Rock, and are a mutated species. How about competing with me in speed? Jia Nantian continued. Rumble. The Devil Lion didn't say anything. A pair of black wings flashed in the air, using his actions to express his intentions. Behind Jia Nantian, a pair of wings appeared as though they were made from pure gold, shining with resplendent light. One black, one gold, both were incomparably resplendent. Bang! A violent gust of wind gusted on everyone. Even those with lower cultivation bases were blown away. However, the two silhouettes directly vanished. Their speed was truly unimaginable. As expected of the Sky Devil Rock race that can contend against the golden-winged great rock for the throne, someone sighed in admiration. The Sky Devil Rock was arrogant and untamed, refusing to be controlled. It would never accept anyone as its king. It was truly a terrifying devil bird. These two demonic beasts are both extraordinary. They do have the qualifications to be at the top of the immortal rankings, unlike those lowly humans who intentionally immersed themselves in cultivation and didn't wake up. An expert from the White Tiger people coldly spoke. Demonic beasts have always revered the strong. There were some among the White Tiger people who admired the two greater demons. However, they were filled with disdain towards the human Qin Wentian who had interacted with them before. What a lowly human! For some lowly races, their intellect is still evolving. Qin Wentian faintly spoke, his words causing expressions of interest to appear on the faces of many. The White Tiger royalty by Mao stared at Qin Wentian as he emotionlessly spoke. If the Sacred Academy can kill people, you wouldn't have been able to live until today. I wonder if the meat of the White Tiger King is tastier. Little rascal, do you want to try it some other day? Qin Wentian spoke to Little Rascal. A drooling expression appeared on Little Rascal's face as his eyes gleamed. White tiger meat, roasted and eaten. A terrifying baleful aura abruptly enveloped the stairway, causing the steps of the experts to slow down. The gazes of the White Tiger people all turned to Qin Wentian as their baleful auras towered up into the sky. As for the experts from the Battle Saint tribe and the Namhuang clan, they turned their gazes over as well. The conflict between the two powers was about to erupt at any moment. The Namhuang clan also wants to meddle in other people's business? Bai Mao spoke with cold arrogance. Before this, the White Tiger people have humiliated my Namhuang clan. If you want to fight, the Namhuang clan is willing to accompany you. Namhuang Yunshi coldly spoke. How fierce, the Sacred Academy cannot be killed. I wonder what would happen if we capture the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan to give birth to white tiger cubs for our White Tiger people. Another expert from the White Tiger royalty arrogantly spoke. The auras of several experts from the Namhuang clan all turned violent. The other experts all hurriedly avoided the conflict between the two powers. Chapter 1142. Both sides weren't willing to show weakness. Their auras clashed against each other, exuding a violent aura that could erupt at any moment. I also feel that it's a pity that we can't kill people in the Sacred Academy. If not, I would definitely enjoy the taste of white tiger meat. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. The more he looked at these white tiger people, the more he disliked them. Although the golden-winged great rock Jianantian was arrogant, he naturally had his own pride. He couldn't even be bothered to find fault with those with lower cultivation bases. Although he was unhappy, he wasn't as shameless and lowly as the White Tiger people. Before this, Bai Mao directly injured him and humiliated Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Shanga. Now his words were even more unbridled. In fact, Qin Wentian didn't doubt that if it wasn't for the rules of the Sacred Academy, they would really humiliate Namhuang Yunshi, Nanfeng Shanga and the other holy maidens. These vile beasts of the White Tiger people could even ride on their servants, viewing humans as lowly beings. There was nothing they wouldn't dare to do. Is that so? The White Tiger royalty expert had a malevolent look on his face. I don't wish to kill you, but I want you to become the slave of my White Tiger people. These beauties of the Namhuang clan, not only can they be slaves, they can also reproduce. This isn't too bad. Our White Tiger people have played with many human beauties before, but the Namhuang clan hasn't. I'm prepared to give it a try. Qin Wentian's eyes were cold. He abruptly turned his gaze and stared at the stairway as he spoke in a clear voice. Senior, is it possible to set up a life-and-death battle in the Sacred Academy to resolve conflicts that cannot be resolved? The eyes of everyone flashed as they stared at Qin Wentian. Seems like this fellow was angered by the White Tiger people. Both major powers wanted a true battle. We, the White Tiger people, also agree. The land of the Sacred Academy is indeed lacking a life-and-death battlefield. The White Tiger royalty powerhouse raised his head and said in a clear voice. The experts from the two powers all nodded. They inclined their heads and stared at the space above the stairway only to see a vast battle platform suddenly appearing. After that, a voice rang out. Initially, I wanted to wait a few more years for all of you to have some accomplishments in your cultivation. But since all of you have made this request, I shall grant it to you all. This battle platform of the Sacred Academy, as long as you are willing to step onto it, it doesn't matter if you die or die. However, you have to rely on your own strength to do so. No immortal weapons or treasures are allowed on the platform. Thank you, Senior. Qin Wentian spoke. The people of the Sacred Academy all inclined their heads and stared at the battle platform in the air. After that, Qin Wentian turned to the experts from the White Tiger people and spoke. Vile beasts, go up. As he spoke, he and the experts from the Battle Saint tribe and Namhuang clan soared up into the air, flying towards the battle platform. At the same time, he spoke to Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Shanga. You guys don't need to go up. The beautiful eyes of Namhuang Yunshi and Nanfeng Shanga stiffened. Right now, their cultivation bases weren't weak either. However, if they wanted to engage in a group battle, they would need the support of a higher cultivation base. Even Qin Wentian, who was at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation, would find it somewhat difficult to do so. Qin Wentian is right. You guys wait below. The holy successor of the Namhuang clan spoke. They flew up the mountain peak and onto the battle platform. The experts from the White Tiger people roared. They similarly left their low-level tribesmen behind while those at the 5th level, and above all, went up the battle platform. For a period of time, the silhouettes below all flashed as they floated in the air, spectating the battle. On the battlefield above the ancient mountain peak, The experts from both sides stood in different directions. This life-and-death battle platform was enveloped by a strange light screen, forming a sealed space. Although it looked vast from the outside, it couldn't be considered too big. But when one entered the battlefield, they discovered that it was actually a spatial dimension, boundlessly vast. This caused the expressions of the experts from both sides to stiffen. This boundlessly vast battlefield seemed to have sealed off all paths of retreat. It wouldn't be easy for those who were defeated to escape. In the life-and-death battlefield, the method to exit is to close your eyes and focus. You will need 3 breaths of time before you can exit. Another voice drifted over, causing the eyes of the experts to flash. In the midst of a great battle, for powerful existences like them, 3 breaths of time was sufficient for them to do too many things. Closing their eyes and focusing, they could kill you countless times in a single breath of time, let alone 3 breaths of time. Unless both sides didn't wish to continue fighting, only then would there be 3 breaths of time to exit. Roast white tiger meat to eat. Little rascal bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he spoke. The white tiger people were the kings of the demonic races. If they could roast white tiger meat, it would definitely be extremely nutritious, far surpassing immortal pills and miraculous medicines. If ordinary demonic beasts or humans ate it, it might even be able to change their talent. There were some ordinary demonic beasts in the immortal realms who worked extremely hard in their cultivation. After they grew stronger, they hunted demonic beasts with noble bloodlines and devoured them to strengthen themselves, using such methods to make up for their innate deficiencies. They struggled on the edge of life and death, constantly being hunted down and eventually becoming incomparably terrifying. It was unknown how many greater demons with noble bloodlines had died in their hands. I really can't bear to kill the beauties of the Namhuang clan. Namhuang Yunshi, who hasn't come up yet, is mine. I will definitely dote on this holy maiden of the Namhuang clan. An expert from the White Tiger people stared at Qin Wentian and the others as he spoke. Also that Nanfeng Shanga, if she serves me together, she would definitely be very happy. It would be much more stimulating compared to those lowly human beauties. The beauties here are all not bad. Let's capture all of them to give birth to white tiger cubs. Let's see if they can give birth to greater demons. The White Tiger people spoke in an extremely unbridled manner. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan stepped out as a pair of phoenix wings appeared behind her. She released her immortal foundation as the shadow of a phoenix appeared, incomparably resplendent. The intense flames of the phoenix could incinerate everything. Kill! The experts from the White Tiger people stepped out. Their baleful auras engulfed the heavens and earth, terrifying to the extreme. This was especially so for the experts from the White Tiger royalty group. The king's insignia on their foreheads was extremely terrifying. Be ruthless. Qin Wentian spoke. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe beside him stepped out as their bodies expanded in size. A divine ape appeared, exuding a heaven-shaking might. His entire body shone with a resplendent light, unexcelled in this world. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Violent auras pressed down on the heavens and earth. Both parties rushed forward, instantly clashing against each other. Their attacks contained supreme killing might as they clashed against each other. The White Tiger people were royalty among the demonic races. There was no need to doubt their combat prowess. Their strength was unrivaled, their speed was shocking. Their baleful auras towered up into the heavens, and their defense was terrifying. Each and every attack of the White Tiger people was an innate technique of their tribe. A single roar was able to shatter one's soul, and the baleful aura gushed into one's body, destroying it. Ordinary people had no way to defend against such a terrifying baleful aura, and their bodies would directly explode. Bai Mao stared at Qin Wentian. He walked over step by step, and although the distance between them was very far, Qin Wentian stared at him. Right now Bai Mao didn't seem like a human. He was like a tiger king whose baleful aura towered up into the heavens, peering disdainfully at everyone. That towering white tiger shadow enveloped the heavens and earth. With a roar of rage, Qin Wentian saw a heaven-shaking tiger king lunging towards him, wanting to devour him in a single gulp. Bai Mao was an expert from the White Tiger royalty. Although he didn't break through during the Tao lecture in the Sacred Academy, he was still at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation, with a king-grade bloodline and king-grade Immortal Foundation. A single roar of his could destroy people, and he wanted to destroy Qin Wentian with a single roar. The experts below all broke out in cold sweat for Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian seemed extremely tiny and inconsequential under the might of the tiger. It felt like he would be devoured by a single strike, becoming a meal on by Mao's plate. Would Qin Wentian roast the white tiger and eat it? Or would the white tiger eat him? Qin Wentian released his godly physique, transforming into a fiend god body, unexcelled in the world. With a loud roar, boundless power of truth gushed forth frenziedly. Demonic beasts howled in rage, suppressing everything. Sword chi filled the sky, halberd piercing through the heavens. Boundless attacks erupted forth with a single roar, blasting towards the white tiger shadow. Terrifying rumbling sounds rang out. The white tiger shadow devoured everything, yet it was still indestructible. Qin Wentian unleashed God's hand. His entire body glowed with a divine glow as his might towered up into the sky. He lifted his palm and pointed it at the air as a gigantic golden-winged rock manifested. It soared up into the air and slashed towards the white tiger shadow. With a thunderous boom, the towering baleful aura of the white tiger shadow was destroyed. Qin Wentian stared ahead only to see Bai Mao coldly glancing in his direction. An expert from the Battle Saint tribe then rushed over, fighting against Bai Mao. Roar! A roar rang out, only to see a fifth-level Immortal Foundation white tiger moving with incomparable speed. While the other experts were fighting, he sped towards Qin Wentian. He reverted to his true form. His body was over 100 meters tall, exuding a terrifying baleful aura. His entire body shone with baleful light. Roar! Another roar rang out. He rushed out, transforming into a bolt of lightning as he lunged towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian roared. His body directly soared into the air, expanding to the same size as his opponent. Fist light blasted out, colliding against the white tiger fist, wanting to compete in strength against the white tiger people. Gotcha! A crisp sound rang out. That gigantic white tiger was actually forced back as it let out a low-sounding roar. As a king of the demon world, his strength was actually inferior to the human Wu Xiao. Golden baleful qi radiated from the gigantic white tiger's body. That white tiger lunged out once more, roaring in the air. The king imprint in the center of his brows glowed, and with a swipe of his claws, the baleful qi transformed into a towering shadow that shot towards Qin Wentian. This was one of the most powerful demonic arts of the white tiger people. This entire space was about to be engulfed by this terrifying demonic art. The baleful qi enveloped the entire space. Qin Wentian soared up into the air and blasted out with his palms. Boundless divine light circulated around his palms, wanting to destroy everything. An ancient halberd of destruction appeared in his hands as he slashed it towards the gigantic white tiger. Numerous rocks of destruction howled in rage as a screen of destructive light engulfed this entire space. The roars of the white tiger people tore through the sky, continuously blasting out with their strongest attacks, yet they were all torn apart by the rocks of destruction. At the same time, a pitch-black ancient halberd that seemed to be formed from the law of destruction shot over. Roar! A mournful roar shook the heavens and earth, shaking the entire life and death arena. The experts of the white tiger race all turned their gazes over as their bodies trembled. They saw a jet-black ancient halberd piercing through the fearsome defense of the white tiger race expert, directly piercing into his body, emerging from his back. Chapter 1143. Qin Wentian stood there proudly, wielding an ancient halberd in his hand. He was like a divinity unexcelled in this world. The defenses of the white tiger people were extremely tyrannical. Their fleshly bodies were terrifying, and their strength was extraordinary. But at this moment, that white tiger people who was a level higher than Qin Wentian actually had their bodies penetrated by Qin Wentian's ancient halberd. The halberd pierced through his abdomen and into his back. The gigantic white tiger howled in agony. Release! A thunderous roar rang out as a terrifying baleful qi blasted towards Qin Wentian. The experts of the Battle Saint tribe stepped out, blocking the white tiger people's advance. However, they only saw Qin Wentian turning his gaze over. The ancient halberd in his hand shone with a destructive light. This halberd was originally formed from the power of destruction. Release? Both parties were already on the life and death arena. How could they release each other? Boom! A surge of destructive energy ravaged the body of the white tiger, wanting to destroy everything. Qin Wentian blasted out with his other halberd, causing the white tiger people to howl even louder as they struggled unceasingly. In an instant, thunderous roars filled the air. The other experts of the white tiger people all transformed into their true forms of white tigers. For a period of time, numerous gigantic figures appeared on the arena, exuding a fearsome might. From afar, Qin Wentian saw an expert from the white tiger king race. His eyes narrowed as the king imprint on his forehead radiated a towering baleful qi. At this instant, Qin Wentian only felt a tiger king appearing before him. With a thunderous roar, an incomparably fearsome white tiger manifested from baleful qi directly rushed towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian lifted his left hand to attack, yet his defense was shattered by the baleful qi. The baleful qi from the white tiger slammed into his body, causing him to be flung through the air. At the same time, the white tiger was flung through the air as well. "You won't be able to save him," Qin Wentian coldly snorted. The jet-black ancient halberd shone with boundless destructive light, reaping the life of the white tiger king. At the same time, a powerful expert from the Battle Saint tribe walked towards the white tiger king. His divine ape immortal foundation enveloped the heavens and earth, and for a moment, with him as the center, a golden battle light screen manifested, blotting out the sun and blocking this entire space, causing the white tiger king to have no way to attack Qin Wentian. These white tiger people were incomparably cruel to others, trampling on the lives of others, not treating Wu Xiao as a human at all. But when they saw their pursuer being killed, all of them went berserk. The baleful qi from their king soared upwards, wanting to crush the entire Sumeru battlefield. The experts in the external world were all in a daze. Qin Wentian's combat prowess was truly tyrannical and terrifying. He actually killed a white tiger king. Given the pride of the white tiger people, this was definitely a humiliation to them. Most probably, they wanted to kill Qin Wentian no matter what. In the future, the white tiger people would definitely target Qin Wentian. Naturally, the prerequisite was that Qin Wentian could walk out of the Sumeru life and death battlefield alive. The experts in the external world could also tell that this life and death battlefield was a Sumeru battlefield. The space within was incomparably vast, and even though so many experts were fighting, they weren't affected by the space at all. The shockwaves from a battle of this level would definitely be extremely vast. "Saint Lord, you can head out first." An expert from the Battle Saint tribe transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. At this moment, those white tigers were in a frenzy, wanting to break through Qin Wentian's defenses. Once a white tiger with a higher cultivation base managed to break through, the consequences would be extremely terrifying. These white tigers were like fiend gods. Their attacks were extremely destructive. As long as one of them managed to grab hold of them, they would be able to make one pay a heavy price. "I will do my best to take care of myself," Qin Wentian replied. Although many of his opponents were extremely powerful, he wouldn't flee in the face of danger. Shifting his gaze, he observed the battlefield. After that, his silhouette flickered as he sped towards a certain direction. Over there, a holy maiden of the Namhuang clan was currently fighting against a 6th-level Immortal Foundation white tiger. This white tiger unceasingly blasted out white tiger treasured arts. The phoenix wings of the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan fluttered as fearsome flames enveloped the battlefield. The holy maiden used her nimble body to counter the tyrannical attacks of her opponent. "Suppress." Even before he arrived, Qin Wentian was already chanting incantations. A moment later, countless runes transformed into an incomparably gigantic character for suppression. This character contained a towering suppressive might, causing the law energy in this space to gather on it, radiating a dazzling light as it directly blasted towards the white tiger. The white tiger slashed out with its sharp claws as a gigantic killing rune ruthlessly slammed into the character, shattering it. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan felt much more relaxed. In a battle between experts, if there was suddenly someone who could block the attacks of the opponent, the effect would definitely be extremely great. Existences of such a level would be able to determine the outcome of the battle in an instant. The might of her immortal foundation gushed forth as the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan blasted out with her palm. An instant later, an ancient phoenix lunged out, instantly descending upon her opponent. A gigantic fiery phoenix shadow enveloped her opponent, wanting to trap him within. that gigantic white tiger let out a thunderous roar as boundless golden baleful chi tore apart everything, unceasingly shattering the phoenix energy enveloping her. However, Qin Wentian didn't remain idle. How powerful was his combat prowess! Even if he fought alone, he wouldn't fear this white tiger, let alone if they joined forces, only to see Qin Wentian's immortal foundation radiating a terrifying might. His perfect and flawless immortal foundation manifested the shadow of a golden-winged rock. These rock shadows were imbued with a fearsome sharpness, as well as a tyrannical destructive might. A supreme sword might converged from the heavens and earth as the law energy of the sword permeated everywhere. Qin Wentian's gigantic body pointed a finger forward as his immortal foundation seemed to be ignited. Terrifying immortal energy ferociously gushed into his finger. Numerous golden-winged rocks appeared. These incomparably fearsome great rocks actually transformed into indomitable destructive swords. The sword of a sky rock was like a beam of light, slashing towards the white tiger, wanting to annihilate everything. The immortal vanquishing swordplay was an immortal art. Back then when Qin Wentian used it when he was at the celestial phenomenon realm, he naturally wasn't able to unleash its full might. In addition, he had to ignite his entire body's energy to unleash the might of the immortal vanquishing swordplay. But now he was at the 4th level of immortal foundation, and could completely unleash the might of the immortal vanquishing swordplay. In addition, he now knew that the immortal vanquishing swordplay was actually a sword formed from a great rock, indomitable and as fast as lightning. Qin Wentian had once thought of this when he was cultivating. The demon sword seemed to have the spirit of a great rock within it. Back then when the demon sword imparted the immortal vanquishing swordplay to him, it was unknown if it was because he had transformed into a great rock during the demonic divinity sacrificial transformation. The immortal vanquishing swordplay was like a great rock transforming into a sword of destruction, instantly slamming into the gigantic body of the white tiger. The white tiger howled in pain as the destructive might of the sword penetrated through its body, tearing apart its defenses. Another howl of agony rang out. How could the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan miss out on such an opportunity? She took out a sharp phoenix sword from her immortal foundation, and directly pierced it into the body of the white tiger. A terrifying wave of scorching flames actually ignited the white tiger's body as it screamed in agony. It's cooked white tiger meat. Outside the Meru Arena platform, Little Rascal's eyes gleamed with light. The flames of the Namhuang clan's experts were incomparably powerful. They actually managed to incinerate the body of the white tiger. Qin Wentian and that immortal foundation expert continued their attacks, killing the white tiger that was roaring unceasingly. Bang! However, in another battlefield, a holy maiden of the Namhuang clan was also sent flying through the air. Bai Mao's terrifying attack slammed into the holy maiden's body, causing her to cough out blood as her aura weakened and her immortal foundation to be heavily injured. Roar! A low-sounding roar rang out from Bai Mao's mouth. He turned his gaze in the direction of Qin Wentian, ignoring the holy maiden as he walked towards Qin Wentian. 2 of his clansmen died miserably, killed by Qin Wentian. At this moment, the person he wanted to kill the most was undoubtedly Qin Wentian. Stepping out, Bai Mao, who was in his true form of a white tiger, radiated a terrifying baleful aura. A supreme might bore down on Qin Wentian and the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan. Careful! The holy maiden reminded Qin Wentian. This Bai Mao was someone from the royal clan. Although the opponents they killed earlier were all at the 6th level of Immortal Foundation, they weren't on the same level. Roar! A heaven-shaking roar of a white tiger rang out as baleful qi towered up into the sky. Qin Wentian and the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan only saw a terrifying white tiger lunging towards them. Even though Qin Wentian was 100 meters tall, he felt as though he was about to be devoured in a single gulp. Qin Wentian lifted his palms and blasted out. A great rock soared up into the sky, shattering the white tiger, exuding boundless might. However, at the same time, Bai Mao descended. His entire body was pure white, yet there was a faint radiance shining from him. Dark golden runes circulated around his body as an incomparably gigantic white tiger shadow appeared in the air, resembling the white tiger demon king. His sharp claws slammed downwards, causing numerous white tigers to roar in the air, wanting to devour the 2 of them into pieces. This scene was akin to doomsday. Qin Wentian released his body of truth as boundless divine light gushed forth. His immortal foundation manifested numerous shadows of great rocks, as sword qi towered up into the sky. After that, he slashed out, executing the second stance of the immortal vanquishing swordplay. The power of his immortal foundation was even more terrifying. The energy of his immortal foundation was being depleted at an extremely fast rate. The shadows of the great rocks slashed out in all directions, tearing apart everything. The white tiger shadows were all destroyed. Qin Wentian's attack power was so tyrannical that it caused people's hearts to tremble. The holy maiden of the Namhuang clan felt her heart pounding. Even before she could unleash her attack, Qin Wentian had already broken Bai Mao's tyrannical attack. An incomparably gigantic white tiger floated above them, exuding a baleful aura. Its demonic eyes were terrifying to the extreme. I want the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan to become the plaything of the white tiger people, to be trampled on and toyed with, Bai Mao icily spoke, staring at Qin Wentian. As for you, I will cripple your immortal foundation first and break all your limbs. White tiger royalty Bai Mao. How lamentable. At the 6th level of immortal foundation, you have already flaunted your might before me before. I can only lament that I started cultivating too late. If not, a royal clan of the white tiger people would be nothing more than a pet ant in front of me. Yet, you still dare to be so arrogant calling humans lowly? I really don't know where you get your qualifications from. Qin Wentian arrogantly spoke. The white tiger race, I've never seen such a despicable and shameless demonic race before. Roar! Bai Mao howled and lunged downwards, his terrifying maw wanting to devour everything. Chapter 1144. Bai Mao transformed into a tiger king and lunged over. The beautiful eyes of the holy maiden of the Namhuang clan who was beside Qin Wentian froze when she saw this scene. She could clearly sense the tyrannical baleful aura radiating from Qin Wentian. Let me do it. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, his body expanded once more, growing even larger. His body of truth radiated boundless light, enveloping Qin Wentian. Destruction, suppression, sword, demonic, all sorts of terrifying might gushed forth from his body, radiating out in all directions. The might of his god's hand was unleashed to the extreme. His entire body seemed to be circulating with a divine glow. Qin Wentian's true body chanted incantations, flying towards the devouring maw. He stretched out both his hands as God's hand contained an incomparably terrifying might, directly grabbing hold of the gigantic white tiger maw, wanting to tear it apart. Roar! The white tiger grew larger once more, wanting to devour Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian's body also grew larger. God's hand blasted towards Bai Mao's body as terrifying rumbling sounds rang out. Bai Mao's gigantic body was forced back, reverting back to his original size. The baleful aura radiating from him seemed to be able to destroy everything. A low-sounding roar rang out unceasingly from Bai Mao's mouth. He stared at the gigantic body of the white tiger, which was actually using its palms to clash against him. Vile creature, as the white tiger royalty, you are 2 cultivation levels higher than me. Is this all your strength is? Qin Wentian roared, his words causing Bai Mao's baleful aura to erupt forth. His gigantic body spiraled in the air above Qin Wentian as waves of baleful aura bore down on him. The king's imprint in the center of his brows shone with a terrifying light, as though an ancient energy was gushing forth from him. An even more transcendent baleful aura gushed forth, transforming into the silhouettes of numerous tiger kings, all of them rushing towards Qin Wentian. The baleful qi in the surroundings lacerated everything. Qin Wentian unceasingly chanted incantations, executing the words suppress and destroy, suppress, and suppress unceasingly, destroying the baleful white tigers, only to see that the baleful aura in the air all converged on Bai Mao, causing him to transform into a baleful god of the Tiger King. This baleful aura could directly penetrate through the human body, exuding boundless might. Bai Mao's silhouette moved like the wind, inconceivably fast. Clouds from the dragon, wind from the tiger. The white tiger moved, transforming into afterimages. The killing innate techniques of the white tiger filled with baleful aura directly blasted towards Qin Wentian. At this moment Qin Wentian had already unleashed his strongest combat state, crossing 2 great levels to fight against the royalty of the white tiger people. He had no choice but to go all out. A perfect saint-grade immortal foundation, a fiend god physique, a body of truth, incantations, God's hand, supreme killing innate techniques. All the methods he could use were all unleashed in this battle. For a period of time, rumbling sounds shook the sky. The spectators could only see the white tiger transforming into afterimages as it attacked again and again. Qin Wentian defended with all his might, enduring the violent attacks again and again. Bai Mao went berserk, unleashing his baleful aura and killing innate techniques, frenziedly attacking, not stopping for even a moment. Qin Wentian's body of truth was also shrouded by the shadow of the divine turtle. Every time he lifted his hand, he would unleash the might of God's hand, unleashing the innate techniques of the greater demons in the cauldron. The great rock could cleave everything apart. The divine elephant could shatter everything. The true Ho could devour the heavens and earth. All sorts of innate techniques were unleashed, one human and one demon, shaking the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian's saint-grade immortal foundation was being depleted at a terrifying rate. How powerful! In the airspace above the sacred academy, there were many experts who had yet to leave, spectating this battle. The battle between Qin Wentian and Bai Mao attracted the attention of many. Qin Wentian broke through to the 4th level of immortal foundation when he was lecturing about the Tao in the sacred academy. Now, he was actually able to fight against the white tiger royalty Bai Mao. Such combat prowess was simply too shocking. Qin Wentian had a perfect saint-grade immortal foundation and had cultivated many ultimate arts. He also seemed to know some powerful Buddhist techniques, causing his incantations to be filled with tyrannical might, allowing him to fight against Bai Mao without losing. At this moment, the saintess of the Namhuang clan, who had teamed up with Qin Wentian, was stunned as she watched the battle between the two of them. The battle between Qin Wentian and Bai Mao was extremely thrilling. If one of them was not careful, one of them would be severely injured. The saintess mobilized the energy in her body, preparing to help Qin Wentian in battle. This was a battle of life and death. There was no need to follow any rules. Besides, Bai Mao was 2 levels higher than Qin Wentian. Once he suffered a backlash from Qin Wentian, it would be a disaster for him. Her entire body was shrouded in phoenix flames. Her phoenix wings flapped as she instantly sped towards Qin Wentian. Her slender jade-like hand stretched out and pointed out with a finger. A moment later, a phoenix howled as Bai Mao turned his head and roared in rage. His roar directly transformed into a white tiger baleful divinity, shattering her attack. Bai Mao roared in rage. His body transformed into a gust of wind as he soared up into the air. His cold eyes stared at the two of them below, and he actually stopped his violent attacks. Qin Wentian had been attacking for a long time, but his counterattack was also extremely powerful. Although he didn't care about the saintess of the Namhuang clan behind him, the constant harassment from Qin Wentian would affect his battle against Qin Wentian. Once he suffered a backlash from Qin Wentian, it would be a disaster. Howling in rage, Bai Mao's eyes were filled with incomparable rage. He didn't expect that he wouldn't be able to kill a mere Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was the white tiger royalty. So this is the white tiger royalty? Qin Wentian naturally wouldn't be polite. He mocked. Bai Mao glanced at the other battlefields. Both sides had suffered casualties. There was an expert from the white tiger people who was heavily injured, and there was also a white tiger who was soaked in blood. As for Qin Wentian's side, an expert from the Battle Saint tribe was injured, and a saintess from the Namhuang clan was heavily injured. The battlefield was extremely intense, and could even be described with the word tragic. In this sacred academy, the demon race experts are the most numerous. As for my people and the experts from the Namhuang clan, many of them aren't here. If the various sacred academies were to merge together, it would be the doomsday of your white tiger people. Qin Wentian coldly spoke, his words causing Bai Mao's gaze to stiffen. His powerful white tiger people were actually threatened by a lowly human? Moreover, this human was only at the 4th level of immortal foundation. This was simply ridiculous. Both sides of the great battle faintly showed signs of pulling apart the battlefield, each retreating to one side. This kind of violent battle consumed a lot of energy, and the slightest bit of carelessness would put their lives in danger. Both sides had some misgivings. The white tiger race's arrogance seemed to have suffered a blow after this battle, and they were no longer as confident and arrogant as before. They were currently facing a strong obstruction. Roar! At this moment, several gigantic white tigers actually rushed towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian and the Saintess from the Namhuang clan both retreated. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe and the other Namhuang clan also rushed over to block them. The experts from both sides finally separated. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe surrounded Qin Wentian. They knew that the White Tiger people wanted nothing more than to tear Qin Wentian into pieces. How is it? A Saintess from the Namhuang clan spoke to the Saintess from the Namhuang clan who was heavily injured. The Saintess from the Namhuang clan was covered in flames as the shadow of a phoenix enveloped her body. Her injuries were extremely heavy and she was almost killed on the spot. Right now, she was using nirvanic energy to save herself, but most probably, her vitality would be greatly damaged. That Saintess didn't reply as she continued recuperating. This caused the countenance of the Saintess from the Southern Phoenix clan to be incomparably cold as she stared at the experts from the White Tiger people. These vile creatures wanted to find trouble for no reason, verbally humiliating the Saintesses of the Namhuang clan, saying that they would capture them to give birth to tiger cubs, allowing the White Tiger people to toy with them. This was simply intolerable. Luckily, Qin Wentian's strength wasn't weak, and he himself was strong enough to kill 2 white tigers. Roar! Low-sounding roars rang out unceasingly. The experts from the White Tiger people slowly moved, as though they still wanted to launch a fatal attack. However, the experts from the Namhuang clan and the Battle Saint tribe didn't move. Terrifying energy gushed forth from them. They basically wouldn't give their opponents any chance to take advantage of them. You guys will definitely pay the most painful price. An expert from the White Tiger clan stared at the experts on Qin Wentian's side as he spoke. The males were tortured to death. The beauties of the Namhuang clan were toyed to death by our White Tiger people. Before this, the experts from the White Tiger people were arrogant and conceited. But now they were all filled with rage. 2 white tigers had died and the corpse of one was still on Qin Wentian's side. Let's directly roast this white tiger meat and eat it. Qin Wentian dragged the corpse of the white tiger to his side. The Saintess beside him waved her hands as terrifying flames engulfed the white tiger's body, roasting it on the battle platform. Roar, roar, roar. The experts from the White Tiger people all roared in rage when they saw this scene. Their baleful auras soared to the extreme. You want to torture us to death, toying with us until we die? Let me tell you this, you bunch of white tigers better not land in my hands. If not, I will kill you and roast you for white tiger meat. Qin Wentian icily spoke. Blood for blood, a tooth for a tooth. The experts from the White Tiger people were extremely fearless. In that case, what did he have to fear? Since the White Tiger people wanted to play, he would accompany them. The flames of the Namhuang clan experts were extremely tyrannical. Very quickly, the white tiger was roasted to a bright red color, as though it was about to be incinerated. Fortunately, the Saintess intentionally controlled the temperature of the flames. The fragrance of roasted meat wafted out. This was a true royal white tiger of the demon world. It was a natural nourishment. After being roasted, the fragrance of roasted meat naturally wafted out. Qin Wentian's palm transformed into a sharp sword and directly sliced out a piece of white tiger meat. After that, he condensed his immortal energy into a long spear and pierced it into his mouth. It was incomparably delicious. As he savored the taste of the white tiger meat, his saliva flowed unceasingly as he spoke in an extremely enjoyable manner, as expected of a white tiger. Its meat is so fresh and delicious. Roar! A heaven-shaking roar rang out, wanting to tear this battle platform apart. Those experts from the White Tiger people went berserk and started to attack again. Qin Wentian's eyes were incomparably cold. He wanted to infuriate this group of vile creatures. These vile creatures didn't treat humans as humans, wanting to enslave and toy with the females of the Namhuang clan. If Namhuang Yunxi and Nanfeng Shunga were to land in the hands of the White Tiger people, it was simply unimaginable how miserable their ending would be. Since this was the case, he wanted the White Tiger people to remember this day well. He wanted them to pay the heaviest price for their arrogance. Most probably, these vile creatures would never forget this lesson. In the past, it was only them, the White Tiger people, who killed humans and toyed with human females. When had humans ever dared to be so crazy? Even the experts outside the battle platform felt their hearts trembling. Some of the greater demons silently mused that it was best not to antagonize Qin Wentian. This bastard was truly capable of doing anything. He actually dared to eat white tiger meat in front of the experts of the white tiger people. Chapter 1145. Madman. At this moment, the experts all silently mused that this fellow was a madman. The experts from the Tianpeng people were also in a daze. Back then, when the white tiger people clashed with Qin Wentian for the first time, they had also mocked Qin Wentian. But at that time they didn't expect Qin Wentian to be so crazy, actually daring to eat white tigers in front of the experts from the white tiger people. Although this Qin Wentian was crazy, he still wanted to teach these greater demons a lesson. Although this Qin Wentian was crazy, he still wanted to teach these greater demons a lesson. These kings of the demon world all had lofty attitudes, thinking that humans were lowly and lowly. But they didn't know that in the eyes of humans, demonic beasts were ultimately still demons. How could they be compared to humans? Even for the supremely powerful demonic races like the Tianpeng people and the white tiger people, how could there not be any peak characters among the humans? The world of demons was located in the desolate 10,000 mountain range, in the extreme north of the immortal realms. The white tiger people wanted to kill Qin Wentian and the others, humiliating the beauties of the Namhuang clan. What else did Qin Wentian have to fear? Leave some for me. Little rascal's saliva flowed freely. White tiger meat, it would surely be extremely delicious, right? It would be extremely nourishing to demons. Too overbearing, how can you eat so quickly? Little rascal bared its fangs and brandished its claws at Qin Wentian, who was on the battle platform. Although Immortal Foundation experts didn't need to rely on food to survive, their appetite was still extremely terrifying. Even for the gigantic white tiger, it ate very quickly. Qin Wentian gobbled down the meat in large mouthfuls, only to feel the energy in his body being replenished. As expected of a king of the demon world, eating was simply too refreshing. How satisfying! Qin Wentian roared, completely enraging the white tiger people. Not only for him, the experts from the Battle Saint tribe and the beauties of the Namhuang clan also directly swallowed a mouthful of white tiger meat to recover their strength. They formed a line and blocked the violent attacks of the white tiger people. Catch! Qin Wentian tossed out the white tiger meat. Instantly, those experts who were fighting opened their mouths and swallowed it, not delaying the battle at all. They ate the meat while fighting. But this infuriated the white tiger people so much that their killing intent swept through the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian's expression was cold. The white tiger people were completely enraged. They blocked this wave of powerful attacks and took the opportunity to counterattack. Very swiftly, a white tiger was devoured cleanly by them. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he sped towards Bai Mao. At this moment his entire body was brimming with energy, and he only felt an inexhaustible amount of energy. His perfect saint-grade immortal foundation radiated immortal might as his body of truth circulated with a boundless radiance. Every step he took radiated a divine glow as a terrifying might gushed forth. With a lift of his hand, a great rock soared through the skies, manifesting a supreme demonic treasure art that directly slashed towards Bai Mao's gigantic body. Bai Mao's body was gigantic. He frenziedly unleashed white tiger demonic arts that contained shocking might. The violent battle caused the entire battlefield to collapse as rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. Finally, the auras of the white tigers weakened. One of the experts from the Battle Saint tribe took the opportunity to counterattack, manifesting a towering Battle Saint art that blasted a white tiger through the air. He then stepped out, wanting to chase after that white tiger. But at the same time, a white tiger king beside him let out a roar of rage, enveloping the entire space. With a thunderous roar, the other white tigers roared in unison as baleful qi gushed forth. The experts from the Battle Saint tribe frenziedly defended, and after that, they only saw the white tiger people rushing to the side of the injured white tiger king and bringing him away. That roar was actually a secret signal of the white tiger people. Naturally, it could also be the original language of the white tiger people. Boo! A holy maiden of the Namhuang clan also coughed out a mouthful of blood as baleful qi gushed forth from her body. Flames revolved around her, expelling the baleful qi from the white tigers. The other experts from the Battle Saint tribe didn't chase after them when they saw this scene. They only saw the white tiger people continuously retreating until they were far away. Their countenances were incomparably cold, and after that, they inclined their heads to the heavens and roared with the rage of the white tiger people, wanting nothing more than to tear Qin Wentian and the others into a million pieces. After that, the white tiger people closed their eyes. A few breaths later, their silhouettes vanished from the battle platform, bringing the corpse of the white tiger people expert with them. In this battle, several experts from the white tiger people were injured. 2 white tiger greater demons died in battle. When had their white tiger race ever had such a miserable battle record before? The experts from the Battle Saint tribe and the Namhuang clan all relaxed. This battle was extremely intense, and the burden on them was extremely great. The white tiger people weren't an ordinary race, they were a royal race in the demon world. In addition, there were still several greater demons from the white tiger royalty among their opponents. Their strength was towering, giving the Battle Saint tribe and the Namhuang clan an immense pressure. They were able to gain the upper hand in this battle because the experts from the Battle Saint tribe and the Namhuang clan were all elites among the elites of humanity. "Let's go out," Qin Wentian spoke. The experts from the Namhuang clan immediately brought the injured holy maidens along as they closed their eyes. A few breaths later, their silhouettes vanished from the battlefield and appeared in the external world. They then soared through the air and joined up with Namhuang Yunxi and the others. The life and death arena on the staircase of the ancient mountain was empty. There was no one there, but the intense battle earlier had left a deep impression on the spectators. Low roars rang out. From afar, the experts from the white tiger people reverted to their human forms. Their eyes were filled with baleful qi, especially when they stared at Qin Wentian. The baleful qi in their eyes could be clearly felt by Qin Wentian, who was very far away. For this battle, Qin Wentian, Namhuang clan, you guys better remember this. Bai Mao coldly spoke. A defeated race wants to scare me? Qin Wentian's eyes were cold. You keep saying that we humans are lowly, wanting the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan to be your slaves. Now that you guys were defeated by us, doesn't that mean that you guys are even inferior to lowly humans? What a joke. One of the holy maidens from the Namhuang clan mocked. Even the defeated white tiger people dared to be so arrogant. Why would they have any qualms? When the other party wanted to capture the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan to rape the white tiger cubs, a grudge had already been formed between the two sides. Now the grudge had only intensified. Namhuang clan, you guys better be careful. If you fall into our hands, I will let you women know what it feels like to live a life worse than death. I will let you all suffer the most painful torture in the world. The experts from the white tiger people roared in anger. After that, they roared and left. They were defeated in this battle. There was no need for them to stay here any longer. If others had the chance, they would definitely settle this grudge. Staring at the disappearing figures, one of the holy maidens from the Namhuang clan said, "Sir Qin, I'm afraid that we will have to stick together in the future. If not, these vile beasts would definitely take revenge on us." That's true. This is especially so for you guys. You guys have to be extra careful. Qin Wentian spoke to the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. In the Sacred Academy, there were rules that stated that no one could kill or cripple a person. They believed that no matter how crazy the white tiger people were, they wouldn't dare to violate the rules of the Sacred Academy. If they captured him and those from the Battle Saint tribe, they would at most torture them. But if they captured a holy maiden of the Namhuang clan, they simply didn't dare to imagine the consequences. The holy maidens of the Namhuang clan would definitely go crazy. "Sir Qin, we have to trouble you then." A holy maiden smiled, expressing her gratitude to Qin Wentian. "This is my matter. The white tiger people didn't merely antagonize the Namhuang clan. I have a grudge with them as well." Qin Wentian casually spoke. "Where's my white tiger meat?" Little rascal scuttled to the front of Qin Wentian, glaring at Qin Wentian with hatred. This fellow was enjoying the white tiger meat in large chunks. "I've left some for you." Qin Wentian glared at little rascal. He then took out a few large chunks of roasted white tiger meat, and little rascal suddenly opened his mouth wide, directly swallowing the meat in a single gulp. This caused the people in the surroundings to be dumbfounded. Little rascal could really eat. How fragrant! I'm not satisfied yet. Next time I want to roast a large white tiger to eat. Little rascal rubbed his belly with his paws as he spoke lazily, looking as though he was asking for a beating. If you have the capabilities, go and roast one yourself. Qin Wentian rapped Little Rascal on its head, causing Little Rascal to feel somewhat depressed. When this Bao grows stronger, I will personally go capture white tigers and roast them for all the beautiful sisters to roast before I eat them. This little fellow actually managed to amuse the holy maidens of the Namhuang clan. This mischievous fellow was too adorable. Let the holy maidens recuperate first. Qin Wentian spoke. The holy maidens nodded before their silhouettes flickered as they departed. Below the sacred academy, many newcomers appeared. These were all people who had crossed the immortal sea and entered the sacred academy during the 3 years that Qin Wentian and the others were cultivating. It was just that because they missed the opening of the sacred academy 12 years ago, this sacred academy was sealed. They could only wait for the next 12 years before they would have the chance to listen to the lectures of the sacred academy. The experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom all had cold expressions on their faces as they stared at the direction where Qin Wentian and the others left. One of them spoke in a low voice. The white tiger people actually didn't manage to kill them. How tenacious! The experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom also sensed that Qin Wentian's strength was very strong. They really didn't know if he was nurtured by the immortal champion gate or not. Clearly, they were from the same race. Earlier, if we joined the battle, we would have the ability to kill them all. Another expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom spoke. It's not a problem to let Qin Wentian and the others die. But if we joined the battle, we would cause the people of the Namhuang clan to suffer the most intense humiliation. Those demons of the White Tiger people are capable of doing anything. If such humiliation were to spread to the ears of the Namhuang clan, our Tenlon Heaven Kingdom would have one more great enemy of the southern immortal realms. This isn't a result that the elders of the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom would want to see. A battle within the sacred academy. Could it be that the Namhuang clan would interfere in the outside world? These are all holy maidens and even holy successors. Even if we kill them with our strength, it's still fine. But if the White Tiger people captured them and humiliated them to give birth to White Tiger cubs, do you think the Namhuang clan would be able to endure this? Have you all forgotten the rumors about Nanfeng Jiyue? The experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom discussed in a low voice. Qin Wentian naturally didn't have the time to care about what they were thinking about. He found a place to cultivate while the experts from the Namhuang clan and the Battle Saint tribe also needed to recover their strength. A month later, Qin Wentian didn't know that Chu Qingyi hadn't forgotten the hatred from 3 years ago. This hatred was carved deep into her bones. This time around, she even broke through to the sky-connecting realm with Leba and used the stone pillars to send out a message. The people from the Snowdrift Sage Hall and Thunder God Hall wanted to find the sacred academy where Qin Wentian was at to deal with him. Chapter 1146. In the Sacred Academy, Qin Wentian was currently there. He stood before the rampart of one of the palaces, and on the rampart, there seemed to be 2 silhouettes of experts fighting. However, their silhouettes were a little blurry. Qin Wentian's eyes were closed. His immortal sense seeped into the immortal rampart as his consciousness appeared in another space. In this space, he was an illusory existence, an illusory body. In this space, there were 2 supreme figures currently engaged in a heaven-shaking battle. Both of them floated in the air, basking in the boundless astral light. Their bodies were enveloped by tyrannical law energy, and although they didn't release their immortal foundations, their bodies were like bodies of law. They were the law itself, and they weren't just a single type of law. One of them stepped out. A moment later, a myriad of golden sword light shot out. Bodies of law, they could use law energy to manifest all sorts of tyrannical innate techniques and techniques in combat, exuding boundless might. The expert on the other side also stepped out. A moment later, an earthen yellow might engulfed this entire space. After that, the 2 of them clashed against each other. Their bodies of law clashed against each other. Qin Wentian could actually sense the existence of the tyrannical law energy. Yet he wasn't destroyed. This was the wondrous part of the rampart. One could use their immortal sense to enter the rampart and sense the battle between immortal kings at a close distance. If he was in the external world, if he dared to observe the battle at such a close distance, he would definitely be torn apart by the law energy. Just the aftershocks alone would be enough to destroy him. There was basically no way for him to be in the center of the battle to comprehend. These ramparts were simply a sacred ground for cultivation. One must know that the people in the Sacred Academy were all at the Immortal Foundation realm. Given the talent of the experts in the Sacred Academy, it was only a matter of time before they stepped into the Immortal King realm. Being able to comprehend something like this would definitely speed up their progress towards the Immortal King realm, allowing them to sense the might of an Immortal King in advance. Although many of the experts here were descendants of Immortal Kings and had elders who could allow them to sense the might of an Immortal King, it was a completely different feeling when they truly fought. After a long time, Qin Wentian's immortal sense retracted. He drew in a deep breath as he comprehended many things. After that, he stepped into another rampart and continued to comprehend. Very swiftly, he had comprehended all the ramparts in this palace. He then exited this place and headed to the other palaces at the side. This process was very slow, but it was very enriching. In this Sacred Academy, there were all sorts of sacred grounds for cultivation. There was also a battleground like the Heaven Connecting Peak where one could engage in illusory life and death battles. There were also many secret realms that had yet to be explored. And there was also a place where the Sacred Academy conducted Tao lectures. Most probably, there wouldn't be a second peak power in the entire immortal realms that could provide such conditions for cultivation. In addition, when Qin Wentian comprehended the art of truth, Qin Wentian faintly sensed that it was a supreme innate technique with boundless might. This was something that was rarely seen in the immortal realms. Sometimes, he would ponder where this Tiandao Sacred Academy originated from exactly. Why would the Chongqing the Great summon it from the boundless starry space? Would there really be an ancient emperor that would rise up in the future? If there was, Qin Wentian would definitely occupy a seat there. If he didn't become an ancient emperor, how would he be able to follow his father's path? This was his conviction. How do you feel? Qin Wentian met Nam Huang Yunxi in one of the palaces as he asked with a smile. I've comprehended many things. The Sacred Academy is too mysterious. Nam Huang Yunxi smiled. Maybe the Nam Huang clan's ancestral phoenix knows some secrets about the Sacred Academy. Qin Wentian laughed. The ancestral phoenix of the Nam Huang clan was an extremely ancient existence. She would surely be extremely knowledgeable and have seen many things. I'll ask her if there's a chance. Nam Huang Yunxi smiled sweetly. It's just that right now, I still don't know how to get to the other sacred academies. Yeah, I wonder how Qing'er and Junmengchen are doing now. Qin Wentian mumbled he missed Qing'er a little. He believed that there were 4 sacred academies. Junmengchen and Qing'er were clearly not in this sacred academy. Qin Wentian's guess wasn't wrong. In truth, there were a total of 4 sacred academies. This sacred academy was mainly for greater demons, and those who cultivated demonic energy. Hence, Little Rascal, Purgatory and the Nam Huang clan with the Phoenix bloodline were all gathered here. Other than these, there were also other greater demons. In this sacred academy, demonic beasts suppressed humans more. But for the other 3 sacred academies, human experts were the dominant ones. The sacred academy that Qing'er was in, there was also a similar palace where one could observe battles between experts. After the Tao lecture in the Sacred Academy, Qing'er's cultivation base broke through to the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. However, she wasn't happy. In this Sacred Academy, she would often be harassed. At this moment, when she was cultivating in front of the Immortal Rampart, there was an extraordinarily handsome figure quietly standing beside her. Qing'er's beautiful eyes turned over. Her expression was ice-cold as a cold intent gushed forth from her entire body. That incomparably beautiful countenance of hers had a rare look of disgust on it. Little sister Qing'er, what a coincidence. The young man beside her smiled at Qing'er. Qing'er already knew the identity of this person. He was a personal disciple of Zidi and had a strong cultivation base. In the Sacred Academy, he would often harass her and stalk her. As he spoke, the young man actually moved towards Qing'er. Qing'er waved her palms as a beam of cold light shot out. She knew that she wouldn't be able to do anything to the young man. Her silhouette flickered as she appeared outside the palace. After that, she took out a powerful spatial treasure and as spatial light flashed, her silhouette disappeared from sight. The young man stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He didn't give chase. He only smiled as he stared at the departing figure. Is there any meaning to this? Opposite him, A figure with his back facing the young man calmly asked. With a beauty teasing me, why not? Chongqing the Great doesn't know how to appreciate favors and didn't give Master face, causing Master to be very unhappy. The young man laughed. After that, he sent his immortal sense into the palace as he started to cultivate. Qin Wentian naturally had no idea about what happened in the Sacred Academy. After several months of cultivation, he came to the sky-connecting realm. In order to guard against the White Tiger people, Qin Wentian got Namhuang Yunxi, Nanfeng Shanga, Purgatory and the others to put on puppet armor. In that case, Namhuang Yunxi and the others could still do what they wanted to do. There was no need for everyone to stick together. In the sky-connecting realm, Qin Wentian's figure suddenly appeared in this space. He surveyed the surroundings. 3 years ago, Leba of the Thunder God Hall and Chu Qingyi of the Snowdrift Sage Hall abused Jun Mengchen. Although he threatened Chu Qingyi not to use Jun Mengchen to deal with her or Chu Qingyi would definitely lose her reputation, he still had no idea about Jun Mengchen's current situation. He also didn't know if Chu Qingyi would use others to deal with Jun Mengchen. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he sped towards the direction of the desolate land where many demonic beasts resided. He was preparing to borrow the strength of the demonic beasts to fight, while also obtaining some demonic spirit meat to eat. On his way there, he saw people hunting demonic beasts for meat. One of them laughed. The meat of these demonic beasts is truly nourishing. How satisfying. It's indeed satisfying to eat, but don't become food for the demonic beasts. Another person laughed. There are many greater demons in our immortal realms. If we can eat their meat, the taste would definitely be unimaginably wondrous. Have you heard of this? In a certain sacred academy, someone ate the meat of a white tiger. The arrogant white tiger people were roasted and eaten by humans, suffering great humiliation. Haha, I've heard of this matter before. The various sacred academies aren't connected to each other. Only this sky-connecting realm is connected to each other. When the news of the white tiger people being eaten by humans spread out, given the personalities of those greater demons of the white tiger people, they were actually able to endure it. The greater demons of the white tiger people were used to being arrogant. They treated humans as mounts, riding on them and toying with human beauties. They were lascivious and evil, basically not placing humans in their eyes at all. Qin Wentian passed by here and just so happened to hear the words of these people. He didn't expect that the people of the sky-connecting realm would already know of the news of him eating a white tiger. However, it was also normal for such news to circulate quickly. Those two seemed to have sensed something. Their gazes turned over and after that, they saw Qin Wentian. The eyes of one of them flashed as he stared at Qin Wentian with an expression of interest. Qin Wentian. One of them coldly spoke. You guys know of me? Qin Wentian's eyes narrowed. I'm afraid there aren't many people in the sky-connecting realm who don't know of you. That person coldly laughed. Qin Wentian initially thought that it was the matter of him eating the white tiger meat. However, they shouldn't have recognized him, right? What did you do to Chu Qingyi back then? You actually caused the Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall to use all sorts of methods to deal with you. Do you know that as long as we capture you and hand you over, Chu Qingyi is willing to pay an extremely high price? One of them laughed. Qin Wentian was speechless. He initially thought that it was the matter of him eating the white tiger meat. But he didn't expect that it was actually Chu Qingyi. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. His terrifying eyes seemed to be able to see through all illusions and as expected, he could sense the greed and viciousness of his opponent. Light circulated around him as he transformed into his fiend god form. His silhouette flashed as he blasted out a tyrannical attack. That 5th-level Immortal Foundation expert was stunned for a moment before he saw a tyrannical destructive great rock shooting over. That Immortal Foundation expert hurriedly retreated. Yet he was still caught up by the might of the rock and was directly annihilated. The eyes of the other expert turned heavy. Chu Qingyi said that Qin Wentian was at the 3rd level of Immortal Foundation. This clearly meant that he had broken through and his combat prowess was so terrifying. He wanted to flee but under Qin Wentian's palm imprint, there was no way for him to do so. He was similarly annihilated. Qin Wentian walked up, seizing their territory. He calmly sat down and started to enjoy the demonic spirit meat. He ate to his heart's content as a cold light flickered in his eyes. Chu Qingyi hadn't settled the debt with Jun Mengchen yet she was still thinking about him. The fragrance assailed my nostrils. Sir really knows how to enjoy life. Only to see several figures walking over with smiles on their faces. These figures were all clad in white and had incomparably beautiful features. All of them were extremely rare beauties, causing the hearts of those who saw them to be filled with joy. Qin Wentian inclined his head and surveyed these beauties as he smiled. Do all of you know me? Holy Maiden Qingyi engraved your portrait on a heavenly stone pillar and sent it up into the air. Everyone in the sky-connecting realm knows you. A gentle voice rang out. The beauty in the center wasn't inferior to Chu Qingyi and was a rare beauty. Beauties from the Jadestige Immortal Palace of the Northern Regions. The reputation of the Jadestige Immortal Palace is truly not in vain. However, if all of you want to capture me, you better think carefully. Chu Qingyi hates me so much. Aren't you all curious about the reason? Qin Wentian's eyes flickered with a smile. His eyes roamed around the beauties as a lustful light flickered within. Chapter 1147. The fairies of the Jadestige Immortal Palace stared at Qin Wentian only to see the fairy in the lead had a heart-stirring smile on her face. She didn't seem to care about Qin Wentian's impudent gaze. We are indeed from the Jadestige Immortal Palace of the Northern Regions. My name is Shen Yuehua, the Holy Maiden of the Jadestige Immortal Palace. I don't believe that Sir Qin is a lecherous person. If I'm not lecherous, why would Chu Qingyi hate me to the bone? Can you guess what I did to her? Qin Wentian gently laughed. His gaze was still as brazen as before, admiring the figure of the beautiful maiden. So it turned out that she was a holy maiden from the Jadestige Immortal Palace. No wonder she was so beautiful. There were many beauties in the northern regions, and the Jadestige Immortal Palace was as common as the clouds. Other than this, the princess of the Hokage Sengoku Kingdom that Qin Wentian had met before was also a supreme beauty. The icy Dark North princess was famous for her beauty. Even Chu Qingyi and this Shen Yuehua before him were much less beautiful when compared to the Dark North princess. I have no idea about this. Maybe Sir Qin also teased Holy Maiden Qingyi like how you teased us. Shen Yuehua walked to the front of Qin Wentian. Her steps were light and graceful, exuding an aura of charm. I heard that Sir Qin has a secret art that can allow one to cultivate a saint-grade immortal foundation. My Jadestige Immortal Palace also has countless powerful secret arts. If Sir Qin is willing, can we exchange them? Shen Yuehua smiled. The value of a secret art that could raise the grade of an immortal foundation was inestimable. I casually teased Chu Qingyi and she actually believed me? Can the grade of an immortal foundation be raised so easily? If that's the case, what's the meaning of talent and cultivation? Qin Wentian smiled as he stood up. He walked to the side of Shen Yuehua, drawing in a deep breath as a look of intoxication appeared on his face. His body was almost touching Shen Yuehua. However, if Holy Maiden asks me how I managed to cultivate a saint-grade immortal foundation, I can tell you a thing or two. However, I don't want the secret art. As for what I want, Holy Maiden should know. Qin Wentian lightly spoke. The fairies behind Shen Yuehua had expressions of unhappiness on their faces. They all stepped out as cold intent gushed forth from them. This fellow actually dared to tease Shen Yuehua. Sir Qin, please don't joke around. To cultivators, looks are merely a bag of skin. Beauties are as common as the clouds in the immortal realms, and given Sir Qin's capabilities, beauties are as common as the clouds. Back then, I saw several holy maidens of the Southern Phoenix clan standing beside Sir Qin, as well as the daughter of the evergreen immortal emperor. How would Sir Qin fall for me? Shen Yuehua's expression didn't change in the slightest. Her smile was still the same as before. Her beautiful eyes slightly lifted up and looked into Qin Wentian's eyes. At this moment, Qin Wentian's eyes were immeasurably deep, as though he could see through all illusions. Shen Yuehua was startled. She faintly felt as though she was being seen through. Her beautiful eyes circulated with immortal energy, blocking Qin Wentian's gaze. This holy maiden of the Jadestige Immortal Palace doesn't have any malicious intentions like Chu Qingyi. It's just that she also wants the secret art. Qin Wentian understood. It was only normal for the holy maiden of the Jadestige sect to want to obtain such a secret art. Not only that, Qin Wentian could sense that this holy maiden was actually somewhat curious about him. Cultivation is bitter. Beauties are what I like. They are pleasing to the eye and the mind. How can the beautiful things in the world compare to the flesh? Qin Wentian's body was almost pressed against Shen Yuehua's. He could faintly feel the softness of her body. At this moment, Shen Yuehua finally retreated, smiling as she dodged Qin Wentian's advances. She bit her red lips and stared at Qin Wentian. Her beauty was indescribable. Haha, brother Qin, as expected of someone of the same cultivation realm. I didn't judge wrongly. A laugh rang out. Qin Wentian and Shen Yuehua inclined their heads and stared into the air. They saw a monk flying over. This monk was none other than Bujia. He was really everywhere. The fairies of the Jadestige immortal realms are truly incomparably beautiful. This monk truly wishes to marry into the Jadestige immortal realms and be together with the fairies. Bujia landed on the ground as he spoke. So it's an esteemed monk from Wenxin Temple. If you marry into my Yaotai immortal palace, I'm afraid the monks of Wenxin Temple would view me as a demoness, causing chaos in the Buddhist sect. Shen Yuehua smiled. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. This Bujia was actually someone from Wenxin Temple. No wonder he was so powerful. He had naturally heard of Wenxin Temple before. It was a supremely powerful Buddhist sect in the central regions of the immortal realms. They didn't interfere in worldly affairs and were extremely mysterious. It was extremely rare for them to participate in conflicts between major powers. They would only do things based on their own hearts. There were all sorts of monks who cultivated in there, and all of them obtained powerful secret techniques and innate techniques. Holy Maiden, you are truly knowledgeable. Not only are you beautiful, you are also intelligent. Monk Bujia laughed. However, the people of my Wenxin Temple have always followed karma and fate. If I want to marry into the Yaotai Immortal Palace, Wenxin Temple wouldn't interfere. I'm just afraid the Yaotai Immortal Palace wouldn't be willing to accept me. Reverend must be joking. The Holy Maiden of Jadestige, Shen Yuehua, stared at Monk Bujia with a heavy gaze. This caused Qin Wentian to feel that this monk from Wenxin Temple had a very high prestige in the outside world. To think that the Holy Maiden of Jadestige would be wary of him, and even referred to him as a reverend. However, this monk was truly powerful. Qin Wentian's eyes could see through all illusions, yet he couldn't see through this monk. Shen Yuehua could easily guess that he was from Wenxin Temple. This was truly extraordinary. Back then, even those from the Snowdrift Sage Hall couldn't tell. Brother Qin, I know that Chu Qingyi is there. Right now, there are only a few beauties from the Snowdrift Sage Hall beside her. Leba and some other experts from the Thunder God Hall have been sent away by her. Monk Bujia suddenly spoke, his words causing a sharp light to flash in Qin Wentian's eyes. Where? Qin Wentian asked. Aren't we good brothers? Monk Bujia stared at Qin Wentian as he asked, his words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash. What was this monk planning now? We are all brothers in the 4 seas. If you help me, we will naturally be brothers. Qin Wentian spoke. That's right. We are all brothers in the 4 seas. Also, beautiful fairies from Jadestige in the future. Qin Wentian will be my brother. It was also fate that brought us together, and we will be good friends. Since you all want to know the secret of the Saint Great Immortal Foundation, I believe Brother Qin wouldn't be stingy to reveal some of his cultivation methods to you all. Who knows, he might be able to help you guys. What do you all think? Monk Bujia spoke again, his words causing Qin Wentian to roll his eyes. Seems like their conversation had been eavesdropped by this monk. Qin Wentian was thinking if this monk was a pervert or not. Naturally, I'm very willing to be friends with young Master Qin. Shen Yuehua glanced at Qin Wentian as she smiled gently. Right, that's right. In the future we will all be good friends. Between friends we should share blessings and misfortunes together. Chu Qingyi's matters are also my matters. Monk Bujia patted his chest as he spoke. He even took the opportunity to place his hands on the backs of Qin Wentian and Shen Yuehua, causing Shen Yuehua's beautiful eyes to flash with surprise. This monk was truly too familiar with them. At this moment, Shen Yuehua turned her gaze over, staring into the distance. Over there, she could sense a tyrannical aura gushing over. Qin Wentian also turned his gaze over, similarly sensing that aura. In the next instant, numerous resplendent immortal arrows shot through the air, shooting straight towards Qin Wentian and the others. The power contained within them was extremely violent, akin to the sun itself, terrifying to the extreme. Monk Bujie's body flashed and he hid behind Qin Wentian and Shen Yuehua. Qin Wentian and Shen Yuehua released their powerful auras. They raised their hands and attacked, clashing with the terrifying celestial arrows. They exploded at the same time. After that, they saw a group of dazzling figures walking over. These people's auras were extraordinary, and they were insufferably noble. Their gazes were cold as they stared at Qin Wentian. "Brother Qin, beautiful fairy, we are good friends. We should share blessings and misfortunes together," the monk said softly. The person who arrived hollered, "What is the meaning of this? Are you trying to interfere in the matters of my Ashi Sengoku kingdom?" Qin Wentian and Shen Yuehua were completely dumbfounded. They felt that they had been tricked by this monk. This was especially so for the fairies from the Jadestige Immortal Palace. They felt completely baffled. With just a few sentences, they were led astray by this monk. So it turned out that this smelly monk was being hunted by someone. "What are you saying? Brother Qin and I are good friends. How can we interfere in the matters of your Ashi Sengoku kingdom?" Qin Wentian was still in a daze when he heard Bujie's voice. In an instant, the two of them had risen to the level of close friends. "You perverted monk." At this moment, an extremely beautiful maiden from the Chasing Sun Immortal Empire stepped out. She was clad in immortal armor and exuded a valiant aura. However, her countenance was as cold as frost as she stared at everyone. "I must kill this monk Bujie for sure. If you guys want to help him, just kill him as well. Bujie, as a disciple of the Wenshin Temple, you are actually so despicable. You have insulted the Holy Land," another expert said coldly. Qin Wentian cursed this lecherous monk in his heart. What did he do to a beautiful girl from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom? As the sound of his voice faded, the experts from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom took out their sun-chasing arrows at the same time. In an instant, beams of light illuminated the sky, terrifying to the extreme. The arrows pierced through the air, directly shooting towards Qin Wentian and the fairies from the Jadestige Palace. Qin Wentian and the fairies from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom were facing an unexpected calamity. Qin Wentian blasted out with his palms while the fairies from the Jadestige Palace also unleashed powerful innate techniques, shattering the arrows of their opponents. However, the archery skills of the experts from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom were extremely shocking. The sun-chasing arrows shot out in rapid succession, blotting out the sky and transforming into a rain of arrows. Not only that, the destructive power of each arrow was extremely strong. The shadow of a divine turtle appeared around Qin Wentian. Monk Bujie had a solemn expression on his face, as he actually transformed into an indestructible Vajra body. At this moment, his cultivation base was finally revealed. He was at the 5th level of Immortal Foundation. The fairies from the Jadestige Palace had extraordinary strength. Their silhouettes flickered as they rushed towards the experts from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom. Clearly, they understood that it was useless to keep defending. "Disperse!" A cold voice rang out. A moment later, the arrows actually changed directions. Qin Wentian and Monk Bujie took this opportunity to move, instantly closing in on the experts from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom. They lifted their hands to attack, engaging in close-range combat. However, the immortal might from the experts from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom was terrifying. When they got close to them, there were still arrows shooting out from the void. It was extremely dangerous to fight against them. Monk Bujie had an indestructible Vajra body. He lifted his hand and grabbed towards the beauty from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom. His palm turned golden, shattering the arrows as he closed in on her. Lecherous monk! When she saw this, the woman's face turned ashen white. She retreated. The experts from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom also retreated, widening the distance between them. Monk Bujie said, "My brother Qin Wentian's combat strength is unparalleled, and he also has the help of Jadestige Fairy. All of you can't do anything to me. It's best if you don't continue to chase after me. It isn't a big deal anyway." The beauty from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom was furious. She pointed at Bujie, but someone beside her said, "My Ashi Sengoku kingdom will remember all of you. Goodbye." After saying that, they directly retreated and didn't continue attacking. When she saw this, Shen Yuehua said in a low voice, "The tracking techniques of the Ashi Sengoku kingdom are unparalleled in the immortal region. It is really dangerous to be tied down by them. Moreover, these people aren't the strongest in the Ashi Sengoku kingdom. Master, you have really harmed us. We will share blessings and misfortunes together. In the future, fairies' problems will be my problems. Monk Bujia said calmly. Qin Wentian glanced at him and spat out, "You are really shameless." Chapter 1148. Monk Bujia stared at Qin Wentian with a straight face as he replied, "Speaking of shamelessness, how can I compare to Brother Qin? This monk is very clear about what you did to Holy Maiden Qingyi. TSK simply, although we are friends, I still have to remind the fairies of the Jadestige Immortal Palace to maintain an appropriate distance from you, Brother Qin." After speaking, he moved closer to Shen Yuehua. Qin Wentian was completely defeated by him. He asked, "Where is Chu Qingyi?" "Brother Qin, I will bring you to look for her now." Bujia spoke. After that, his silhouette flashed as Qin Wentian followed behind him. The beautiful eyes of Shen Yuehua and the other fairies flashed as well, following behind them. They were the same as Qin Wentian. They were all tricked by this monk Bujia. But since this monk was someone from Wenxin Temple, he should be an extraordinary character as well. But when they saw the enmity of the beauties from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom, this monk seemed a little. After a period of time, Qin Wentian and the others came to a mountain range. This desolate mountain range was extremely quiet, yet there were many demonic beasts roaming about. Qin Wentian felt somewhat puzzled. Why did Chu Qingyi come here? Could it be that she had some miraculous encounter? She is right ahead. Brother Qin, just continue forward and use your immortal sense to scan the area. Although we are brothers and good friends, this matter concerns the grudge between you and Chu Qingyi. After all, you have wronged Holy Maiden Qingyi first. I won't interfere in this matter and will act as a lookout for you. I will take good care of Fairy Qingyi. Bujia patted Qin Wentian on his shoulder, speaking in a very polite and righteous manner. Qin Wentian finally understood this monk. He was too shameless. He didn't want to help and didn't want to create trouble, yet he still spoke in such a righteous manner. His words were vague, causing the fairies of the Jadestige Immortal Palace to misunderstand that he had really done something to Chu Qingyi. In terms of this, even Fatty Fanle back then couldn't be compared to him. With a flash of his silhouette, Qin Wentian didn't bother about this shameless fellow and directly flew forward. His immortal sense gushed out, seeping into the ancient mountain range. Upon seeing Qin Wentian leaving, Monk Bujia spoke, "Fairy Jadestige, what are your plans?" "I'm preparing to temporarily leave the sky-connecting realm. Do you want to come with me?" "Aren't you being too shameless?" Shen Yuehua asked. The tracking techniques of the Ashi Sengoku kingdom are extremely powerful. Right now, they must be gathering the experts from the immortal kingdoms. If I don't leave, I will only implicate Fairy Qingyi. How can I bear to do that? Bujia spoke. "You can go. I don't have any great grudge with the Ashi Sengoku kingdom. As long as I explain things clearly, there shouldn't be any problems." Shen Yuehua smiled. Monk Bujia nodded. "Fairy, take care." After speaking, he directly left. It was unknown what he had done to that beauty from the Ashi Sengoku kingdom. Qin Wentian continued on his way and as expected, he discovered Chu Qingyi's silhouette. Not only Chu Qingyi, there were two other maidens from the Snowdrift Sage Hall as well. However, their cultivation bases weren't very high. The two of them stood guard outside while Chu Qingyi seemed to be doing something. When his immortal sense sensed everything, Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. Before the mountain peak on a huge rock, the eyes of the two maidens from the Snowdrift Sage Hall flashed. One of them spoke, "Qingyi, there's someone here and he's using his immortal sense to observe this place. It's him, the person you are looking for." The eyes of the other maiden flashed. Chu Qingyi, who was currently on the cliff, flashed with coldness. Her immortal sense extended out and as expected, she saw a figure rushing over here. It was none other than Qin Wentian. She glanced at the two figures curled up in front of her and said, "In that case, everyone is here. Just kill us." Before Chu Qingyi, there were two people who had already been tortured to the point where they no longer resembled humans. They were on the verge of death. Their arms were severed and their immortal foundations were crippled. They only wanted to die. These two were none other than the two who humiliated Chu Qingyi back then. Although their actions back then were despicable, They were still geniuses from the Nibelsky sacred cult. But now they were being tortured to such an extent that they wished they were dead. Kill you too? I will make the two of you regret living in this world. Chu Qingyi stabbed out with her finger as screams of misery rang out. The eyes of the two were blinded. It was precisely these two pairs of eyes that saw something they shouldn't have seen. Sadly, this was the sky connecting realm. She wanted nothing more than to torture them like this in the real world. I will continue to torture you too, causing your original bodies to go crazy as well, falling into a demonic state, unable to extricate themselves. Chu Qingyi spoke with incomparable hatred. Her beautiful countenance contorted because of the hatred she felt. She hated these two to the core. She had never hated them so much before. Finally, a gust of wind could be felt from afar. Qin Wentian could be seen flying over here. Chu Qingyi turned and walked towards the direction of the gigantic rock, standing together with the two maidens from the Snowdrift Sage Hall, as they stared at Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian finally understood why Chu Qingyi wanted to send the others away. Because of this matter, she didn't want others to know about it. She wanted revenge. Glancing at the two maidens from the Nibelsky sacred cult, they could be considered to have reaped what they sowed. Although Qin Wentian loathed Chu Qingyi for having such a venomous heart, these two maidens took advantage of the situation to do despicable things. They were truly shameless. I've been searching for you for a long time. I didn't expect you to come here yourself. Chu Qingyi stared at Qin Wentian, her beautiful eyes flashing with intense hatred. Although 3 years have passed, she still couldn't forget the humiliation she suffered in her life. A tyrannical aura gushed forth from her as a wave of coldness gushed forth. After the Tao lecture in the Sacred Academy, her obsession for cultivation grew even stronger, and she actually broke through to the 6th level of Immortal Foundation. Her combat prowess increased by more than a level. In addition to the fact that the two maidens from the Snowdrift Sage Hall beside her were also 6th level Immortal Foundation experts, Qin Wentian was simply courting death by coming here. For the matter 3 years ago, I've already done my best. You conspired against me, wanting to kill me because you couldn't obtain the secret art. Do you think I shouldn't have injured you? Qin Wentian stared at Chu Qingyi as he questioned. However, he only heard Chu Qingyi coldly speaking. You want to talk to me about whether I should or shouldn't? Yes, you were humiliated by these two because I injured you. Even if you hate me, I have nothing to say. How you want to deal with me is a matter between the two of us. But you are in the wrong. You shouldn't have vented your anger on my junior brother. Qin Wentian's 4th level Immortal Foundation aura gushed forth, causing Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes to stiffen. No wonder Qin Wentian dared to come here alone. So it turned out that he had also broken through. You used your beauty to seduce Leba and acted against my junior brother, torturing and humiliating him. For this debt, regardless of you or Leba, I will definitely settle it. Qin Wentian's physique was like that of a fiend god, simply unexcelled in the world. His perfect saint-grade immortal foundation gushed forth as a supreme divine might gushed forth from him, unexcelled in the world. Boom! 3 terrifying waves of cold qi gushed towards Qin Wentian at the same time, instantly freezing this entire space. Qin Wentian radiated boundless sword might, sweeping through everything, causing the frozen space to shatter unceasingly. Qin Wentian stepped out. His immortal foundation manifested the shadow of a great rock, as boundless immortal energy frenziedly gushed towards his fingertip. Immortal Vanquishing Swordplay Second Stance. This stance was formed from Qin Wentian's Saint-Grade Immortal Foundation, manifesting a great rock paragon art. Unleashed with God's hand, the might contained within was incomparably terrifying. In an instant, numerous beams of sky rock sword chi gushed forth, enveloping the 3 of them. The 3 experts from the Snowdrift Sage Hall frenziedly defended. Qin Wentian's finger pressed down on one of them, causing numerous great rocks to slash into her, killing her. Suppress, exterminate. Qin Wentian chanted incantations, unceasingly launching attacks, suppressing the attacks of his opponents. His speed was as fast as lightning. There was basically no time for his opponents to resist. Chu Qingyi's countenance turned pale. The power of incantations directly slammed down from the sky, containing boundless might. Qin Wentian lifted his palms and blasted out with the great rock paragon art. A ferocious bird tore apart the void, killing another expert from the Snowdrift Sage Hall. His tyrannical combat prowess caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. Qin Wentian's combat prowess was comparable to the White Tiger royalty holder by Mao. Although the two experts from the Snowdrift Sage Hall were powerful, there was still a disparity between them and Qin Wentian at his peak. Qin Wentian showed no mercy, not giving them any chance at all. Chu Qingyi was also forced back. Her expression changed, becoming extremely unsightly to behold. She stared at Qin Wentian. How could this be? How could he be so powerful? Back then you coveted my secret art. Yet you despised me in your heart, arrogant beyond compare. However, as the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, do you think I would care about you? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. His might towered up into the sky, causing the pride in Chu Qingyi's heart to waver. Boom! Qin Wentian stepped out. His perfect saint-grade immortal foundation radiated boundless immortal might, causing Chu Qingyi's immortal foundation to feel a slight pressure. Numerous ancient characters directly floated out from his immortal foundation, ancient characters of suppression, ancient characters of destruction, ancient characters of demon. The might of the great Tao was boundless, and instantly, this entire space was filled with boundless might of the great Tao. Chu Qingyi frenziedly defended against Qin Wentian's attacks. Qin Wentian continued moving forward. The divine glow of his immortal foundation circulated around him as numerous great rocks manifested. Boom, boom, boom. Chu Qingyi was unceasingly subjected to powerful attacks. Finally, Qin Wentian's supreme palm imprint slammed into her body, causing her to be flung through the air, coughing out blood. Qin Wentian continued moving forward, continuing his attacks. Several palm imprints landed at the same time, causing cracks to appear on Chu Qingyi's immortal foundation, as she suffered heavy injuries. Her countenance was as pale as paper. She was actually suppressed by Qin Wentian in such a domineering manner. Qin Wentian grabbed out with his hands, directly trapping Chu Qingyi's injured body within the palm imprint. He could easily kill her. Just kill me. Chu Qingyi's countenance was like dead ashes. She suffered another blow, causing her to doubt herself as sorrow filled her heart. Kill you? In that case, what you did to my junior brother in the past is nothing. Qin Wentian laughed. He retracted his palm imprint and Chu Qingyi's body flew towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian stretched his hands out and directly pulled her into his embrace. From today onwards, Chu Qingyi, you shall be my female slave. Listen to my commands and do my bidding. I truly want to see how arrogant a holy maiden like you can be. Chapter 1149. Chu Qingyi's slender waist was firmly restrained by Qin Wentian. When she heard Qin Wentian calling her a slave girl, she only felt a burning sensation in her chest, as she almost coughed out another mouthful of blood. Chi! A bright light flashed. Chu Qingyi actually wanted to commit suicide. Qin Wentian blasted out another palm strike onto her body, completely crippling her. She couldn't muster any strength and her entire person felt limp and incomparably humiliated. She initially wanted to kill Qin Wentian for revenge, but now, she actually fell into the hands of Qin Wentian. Brother, kill us. A weak voice rang out. It was the two geniuses from the Nibble Sky sacred cult. Qin Wentian glanced at them before bringing Chu Qingyi away, ignoring the two of them. Since some things have been done, they should bear the consequences themselves. Although he loathed Chu Qingyi, he wouldn't sympathize with the two of them. Qin Wentian brought Chu Qingyi with him as he sped towards the depths of the mountain range. Shen Yuehua and the others were still waiting for Qin Wentian. A bitter smile appeared on their faces as they spoke in a low voice. Let's go. After speaking, the fairies of the Jadestich Sacred Hall left one after another. In the outside world, the two maidens from the Snowdrift Sage Hall who were killed felt that something was amiss. Given Qin Wentian's combat prowess, it was very likely that Chu Qingyi would be killed. However, Chu Qingyi's body was trembling as though she was injured, but she still didn't wake up. Their expressions sank as they thought of a possibility. After that, the news of Chu Qingyi being captured started to circulate. Leiba and the other experts were all enraged. In the sky-connecting realm, experts from the various powers searched for Qin Wentian, heading to the place where Chu Qingyi was captured. After questioning the two maidens, they learned that Qin Wentian had indeed captured Chu Qingyi and entered the depths of the mountain range. Experts from the various powers then entered the mountain range to search for traces of Qin Wentian. Several days later, in the depths of this boundlessly vast mountain range, Qin Wentian was extremely carefree. He captured a powerful blazing lion as his mount and roasted demonic beast meat for him to eat. He was extremely happy, and at the same time, this blazing lion could also help him guard Chu Qingyi. Lying on a rock, Qin Wentian finished the roasted meat in his palm. After that, he said to Chu Qingyi, "Go get more meat for me." Chu Qingyi's expression was incomparably cold as she stared at Qin Wentian. However, she didn't dare to disobey his orders. She obediently went to get the roasted meat and gave it to Qin Wentian. "Don't look at me like that. Feed it to me." Qin Wentian spoke lazily. Chu Qingyi's eyes seemed to be able to kill as she stared fixedly at him. Qin Wentian stretched out his palm. An invisible force swept Chu Qingyi's frail body towards Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian laid there and embraced her in his embrace. His hands caressed her delicate body as he inhaled deeply, as though he was smelling the fragrance of a woman. "The scenery here is really good. It's suitable for doing some wonderful things." Qin Wentian smiled faintly. "I'll feed it," Chu Qingyi said coldly. "This kind of expression, it's not beautiful anymore." Qin Wentian's hands moved towards a certain seductive place. Chu Qingyi's delicate body trembled. In the past few days she had lost count of how many demonic claws she had fallen into. Now she had gradually become numb to it. She squeezed out a smile. "Although it's a little ugly, it's still passable." Qin Wentian let go of her. Chu Qingyi fed Qin Wentian demonic beast meat. Qin Wentian seemed to be enjoying it very much. "Hunting demonic beasts, eating meat, and having beautiful women as my companions. These days are really carefree and enjoyable." Qin Wentian stretched and said, "What exactly do you want? Back then you didn't touch me. I don't believe that you will do it now." Chu Qingyi looked at Qin Wentian. "What you've done is beyond my bottom line. It's useless to kill you, and I'm not willing to let you go. If I don't torture you, how can I teach you a lesson? Moreover, it's really lonely to train and kill demonic beasts alone. Isn't it fun to catch a beautiful woman to keep me company? As for whether I will touch you or not, you are a beautiful woman after all. Are you that unconfident in yourself?" Qin Wentian's smile was filled with evil light. He said, "Come, help me massage my shoulders. They're a little sore." Chu Qingyi walked behind Qin Wentian and massaged Qin Wentian's shoulders. She saw Qin Wentian closing his eyes and enjoying the massage. He seemed to be enjoying it. Roar! A low-sounding roar rang out from the direction of the blazing lion. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he grabbed Chu Qingyi and leaped onto the back of the demonic lion. "Let's go." As the sound of his voice faded, the demonic lion sprinted out. It was a demonic spirit of this mountain range and should be very familiar with this place. Its sense of smell was extremely sharp when greater demons approached. If something was amiss, Qin Wentian would immediately tell it to flee. Qin Wentian would only antagonize demonic beasts at the 7th level and below. If he could kill them, he would roast them and eat them. In the blink of an eye, Qin Wentian stayed in this demonic mountain range for several months, tempering his combat prowess. This time around, he didn't think of entering the Supreme Might Immortal rankings. He only wanted to temper himself and find Chu Qingyi to take revenge for Jun Mengchen. This naturally caused him to feel extremely happy. In the forest of a certain mountain range there was a clear river. Chu Qingyi was currently bathing in the river. Her entire body was wet, adding to her feminine beauty. "You are a beauty, yet your heart is so vicious." A voice suddenly drifted over, causing Chu Qingyi's expression to change. She inclined her head and saw a figure quietly lying on a huge rock. She crossed her arms before her chest and coldly spoke, "Aren't you a thief as well?" "A thief?" Qin Wentian smiled. "I've already seen it. Is there a need for me to be a thief? I can even feel the sensation of your skin." As he spoke, Qin Wentian sat up from the rock. His eyes stared fearlessly at that delicate figure. Chu Qingyi pointed her finger at Qin Wentian as she coldly spoke, "You are shameless. Do you even have the qualifications to say the word, shameless?" Qin Wentian stared at the bashful and angry beauty. He coldly laughed before turning and walking away, as though he had no interest in her at all. This scene caused Chu Qingyi to feel both shame and anger. During these days her pride was constantly being crushed. Right now, her state of heart was extremely fragile, and she was no longer the arrogant holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall. After being tortured by Qin Wentian for so many days, she had completely become a maid, serving Qin Wentian. Chu Qingyi walked to the riverbank. Her drenched clothes stuck to her body, revealing her perfect curves. She stared at the reflection of her beauty in the clear river as she bit her lips. Such a delicate figure, why was he so disdainful? She was the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, incomparably pure and holy, the goddess in the dreams of countless people. However, after that, her expression changed as she felt somewhat ashamed. She actually had such thoughts? How laughable! Have I been tortured to the point where I no longer have any pride? At this moment, Chu Qingyi was incomparably fragile. Her eyes were actually slightly wet. After returning to the forest, Qin Wentian was currently roasting demonic beast meat. When he sensed Chu Qingyi sitting on a rock beside him, he spoke, "Come over and dry your clothes. Do you feel that your wet figure is very good?" Chu Qingyi came to the side of Qin Wentian and squatted down. Her body was curled up as the light from the fire illuminated her face, causing it to turn red. "What do you intend to do? Are you going to release me or not?" Chu Qingyi asked. "Did I say I'm going to release you?" Qin Wentian glanced at Chu Qingyi before he continued. "Maybe one day when you no longer view me as an enemy, I will release you. But I'm afraid that's not possible." At this moment, Qin Wentian frowned. His eyes flashed with coldness as he spoke in a low voice. "You can still find me in such a state? Seems like he's your admirer." A glimmer of hope flashed in Chu Qingyi's eyes as she stared into the distance. Not long after, a handsome figure appeared in the air. This figure was clad in luxurious robes and exuded an extraordinary aura. Evidently, his status was extraordinary, and he was none other than a heaven chosen from a supreme power in the central regions. He was also an admirer of Chu Qingyi. When he saw that Qin Wentian was together with Chu Qingyi, and that Chu Qingyi was actually soaking wet, his countenance grew extremely unsightly to behold. "Holy Maiden Qingyi, what did this bastard do to you?" Chu Qingyi's countenance changed. A man and a woman were together and Chu Qingyi was a captive. Not only that, she was also so beautiful. Now that she was soaking wet, anyone would think in that direction. Me and Holy Maiden Qingyi treat each other like honored guests. Right now we're roasting demon meat together, enjoying the tranquility and comfort. Can't you see that? Qin Wentian narrowed his eyes as he laughed. Back then, among those who escorted Jun Mengchen, this person was one of them. Rumble. A violent aura gushed forth from this person. His cultivation base was at the 6th level and was incomparably strong. Golden sword light flashed around him, transforming into millions of tiny swords that were incomparably sharp. "Oi, you will injure Holy Maiden Qingyi." Qin Wentian hugged Chu Qingyi as he laughed. That person was enraged. "Holy Maiden Qingyi, you guys." Chu Qingyi coldly stared at him when she heard his words. "Do you believe his words? Kill me and I will be able to leave this place. Right?" That person nodded. A moment later, countless golden swords gushed forth. Qin Wentian released his fiend god physique as a screen of light enveloped him and Chu Qingyi. He then coldly spoke, "You truly don't know how to have tender, protective feelings for the fairer sex." As the sound of his voice faded, he soared up into the air and chanted a mantra. The word suppression swept through the air, causing the millions of golden swords to freeze in mid-air. A fiery beam of light descended from the sky as an incomparably resplendent golden flaming sword cleaved downwards, aiming for Qin Wentian. It was as though it came from beyond the heavens. The sword chi it exuded was so overwhelming that it shook the heavens. The power of Qin Wentian's saint-grade immortal foundation grew stronger and stronger. He transformed into the form of a greater demon and roared as he blasted out, aiming for the sharp sword in the air. With a single point of his finger, boundless sword might seem to belong to him, slamming into the heaven-shocking sword, shattering it. Qin Wentian stepped out. His entire body glowed with a divine light, exuding unparalleled might. With a lift of his hand, he unleashed a greater demon innate treasure art that resembled a raging tempest. The golden swords frenziedly resisted, yet Qin Wentian's attacks were incomparably violent, shaking the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian, who was enveloped by the divine light, was like a supreme war god. His long hair fluttered in the wind, unexcelled in the world when he fought. Chu Qingyi was also enveloped by the divine light. She quietly stood below, watching the battle in the air. When she saw Qin Wentian's magnificence, she faintly felt that if it wasn't for the fact that she was enemies with Qin Wentian, she would have admired how strong Qin Wentian was. She discovered that she had never seen such a terrifying character before, a 4th-level Immortal Foundation cultivator, who could suppress a 6th-level Immortal Foundation cultivator. She was very familiar with this person. He was a supreme genius from a major power with unparalleled strength. Yet, he was completely suppressed by Qin Wentian. Maybe back then when she first met Qin Wentian, she already had her inherent arrogance and prejudice. She was high up in the air, unexcelled in the world. However, that magnificent silhouette seemed to be even more arrogant than her. Chapter 1150. Maybe Chu Qingyi was already numbed by Qin Wentian's abuse, or maybe her pride was completely ground away by Qin Wentian. She didn't even know why she started to admire this young man whom she hated to the bone, even if what she admired was the truth. Very swiftly, that arrogant young man was defeated by Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian crippled his immortal foundation and severed his legs. After that, he stomped him into the ground, allowing him to struggle freely. Qin Wentian stood with his hands clasped behind his back, calmly staring at his opponent. Arg! Don't speak such high-sounding but disgusting words. You came here with a cultivation base at the 6th level, yet you are now being trampled under my feet like a beast. If I were you, I would only die of shame. No matter how you console yourself, the cruel truth still tells you that there's a truth to this. Qin Wentian's voice slowly rang out, as though wanting to completely destroy the arrogance in the heart of this young man. This truth is that in the past, you were able to maintain your elegant demeanor and arrogance because you have never met a true genius before. Hence, you became arrogant and thought that you are infallible. This battle is sufficient to beat you back to your original state, letting you clearly understand how trash you are. You are actually being trampled under the feet of a nameless character who you look down on. You should think about it carefully. If a character like you could step into the immortal emperor realm one day, what level would I reach? Qin Wentian's calm voice was like a sword piercing into the young man's heart inch by inch, peeling away the arrogance in the depths of his heart bit by bit. This cruel and emotionless voice caused even Chu Qingyi, who was below, to tremble when she heard it. Qin Wentian's words were too terrifying. This was especially so when the other party was an extraordinary genius. Such words were sufficient to shatter the confidence and conviction of the other party. After all, Qin Wentian's foot had indeed stepped on the head of the other party. Also, it was a fact that Qin Wentian was at the 4th level of Immortal Foundation. However, Chu Qingyi understood that this wasn't because the young man was weak. Wasn't she also being suppressed by Qin Wentian? It was just that the young man standing there with his hands behind his back seemed to have an incomparable characteristic. At the very least, she had never met such a terrifying person before. Rumble. With another stomp, Qin Wentian pressed the young man's body into the ground as he coldly spoke. You shall lie here powerlessly and wait for the demonic beasts in the mountain range to descend and devour you, allowing you to leave this sky-connecting realm. After speaking, Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he returned to the side of Chu Qingyi. Staring at the figure beside her, Chu Qingyi could deeply sense how intense Qin Wentian's vengeance was. As long as one participated in the assassination of his junior apprentice brother, he would definitely take revenge on them in the cruelest way possible. She suddenly discovered that she was somewhat lucky. If it wasn't for the fact that Qin Wentian had a bottom line, he would have many cruel methods to deal with a beauty like her. Thinking of this, she could feel cold sweat dripping down her back. Although what Qin Wentian did to her before was hateful, she who had fallen into Qin Wentian's hands could still be considered lucky. Let's go. Qin Wentian did not feel any pity towards the prodigy who was trampled on. Hugging Chu Qingyi's body, he stepped onto the back of the blazing lion that was crawling on the ground. A deep roar rang out, and the blazing lion brought them away from this place. Only after several days was the young man who was trampled into the ground discovered. Fortunately, the ones who discovered him were not demonic beasts, but the experts of the Lightning Divine Hall who came to search for Qin Wentian and Chu Qingyi. Looking at his miserable state, The hearts of the experts of the Lightning Divine Hall twitched. Seems like in the future they really had to be careful of that young man. If they were to fall into his hands, the consequences would be extremely miserable. Qin Wentian continued to roam the mountain range, hunting countless demonic beasts and eating the meat of many demonic beasts. It nourished his body greatly, and his combat prowess was constantly being tempered as well. Naturally, he would also encounter the pursuit of powerful great demons, to the extent that even his mount was destroyed. Another few months passed, and he no longer knew how deep he had gone. However, he sighed in his heart at the vastness of the sky-connecting realm, as though it was truly a world of its own. At this moment, Qin Wentian was walking on a mountain that was made of huge boulders. There were no plants here, only a gigantic mountain range that was piled up with boulders. Chu Qingyi followed behind Qin Wentian. These few days she had witnessed Qin Wentian's strength. From the bone-deep hatred she had for Qin Wentian in the past, her hatred for him had actually faded by quite a bit. In fact, she would occasionally reveal a hint of admiration. If it was said that the prodigies nurtured by the Sacred Academy would become characters like ancient emperors in the future, then who knew if the young man before her would be that destined person? There seems to be a very terrifying aura. Qin Wentian spoke in a low voice. He turned his head and glanced at Chu Qingyi. "Let me bring you up." Chu Qingyi walked up and very naturally walked to the side of Qin Wentian, allowing him to hug her. Qin Wentian's silhouette flashed as he soared up into the air. He turned his head and saw Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes staring at him. A strange look involuntarily flashed in his eyes. He also discovered that the hatred in Chu Qingyi's eyes was no longer as intense as before. This was truly very strange. Also right now she was leaning on him and didn't seem like a captive at all. They seemed more like lovers. Qin Wentian was somewhat puzzled. He involuntarily asked, "Does the Holy Maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall have masochistic tendencies?" He thought back to these days. He was ruthless enough to Chu Qingyi, crippling her cultivation base in the sky-connecting realm and ordering her around like a slave. However, she actually grew calmer and calmer. Chu Qingyi's expression turned cold as her beautiful eyes turned frosty. Qin Wentian smiled and spoke in a low voice. "This is a normal gaze." He stepped out and came to the top of a rock. He inclined his head and stared at the air. Over there black fog swirled about as a terrifying aura gushed forth, isolating his immortal sense. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with a strange light as he stared at the black fog. His eyes of truth could see through all illusions. After that he saw a terrifying scene. Within the black fog, there was actually a group of greater demons whimpering, piling up like a mountain. Blood flowed everywhere, as though the blood was about to be drained dry bit by bit. Qin Wentian even saw a few true greater demons. They weren't demonic spirits from the sky-connecting realm, but were demons from the Sacred Academy. They reverted to their true forms and their eyes were filled with boundless terror. They became sacrificial offerings, staring at the figure shrouded in black fog with sorrow in their eyes. Over there seemed to be a young and emotionless figure sitting there. His entire body was covered with strange runic inscriptions, and the light from his body was unceasingly infused into his body. He seems to be someone from the Beast God sect. Although the Beast God sect seems to be low profile, I didn't expect them to be so deep and terrifying. Qin Wentian stared at the young man using hundreds of demonic beasts as sacrificial offerings to cultivate as his heart trembled. Although he had killed many demons before, he still felt a chill in his heart. Such methods were too cruel, using greater demons as sacrificial offerings. The cultivation methods of the people from the Beast God sect must be extremely terrifying. At this moment, the young man in the black fog abruptly opened his eyes. That pair of terrifying demonic eyes stared at Qin Wentian. In an instant, Qin Wentian's entire body trembled as he felt a fearsome might wanting to tear him apart. His entire body stiffened as though a terrifying greater demon's claws were grabbing onto his throat, or perhaps his body was being torn apart by a greater demon. Qin Wentian's true art shone brilliantly as his body violently trembled. He didn't even glance at the young man. The cultivation base of this young man was very high, many times stronger than him. There was basically no way for him to contend against him. He pulled Chu Qingyi and instantly departed. That young man in the black fog didn't interrupt his cultivation because of Qin Wentian. He was still immersed in his cultivation. Who was that? On the way back, Chu Qingyi asked. An extremely dangerous person. Qin Wentian replied. You seem to be very fearful. There's actually someone in this sacred academy that can cause you to be fearful? Chu Qingyi's impression of Qin Wentian changed during this period of time. She thought that he wouldn't place anyone in his eyes. The geniuses in the sacred academy are as common as the clouds, including the geniuses of the immortal realms. Although there are many idiots like you, there are also many who stand at the peak. Is the golden-winged great rock Jianantian not strong? As for him, he is merely more high-profile. There are many other powerful characters, but they aren't as arrogant as you fools, fearing that no one in the world would know of your existence. Qin Wentian impolitely reprimanded. On the way back, Qin Wentian actually encountered several people from the Battle Saint tribe, including the one with the strongest combat prowess, Cheetah. When they saw Qin Wentian, they hurried over and called out, Young Master Qin. In front of outsiders, the people of the Battle Saint tribe wouldn't refer to him as Saint Lord. How did you guys find this place? Qin Wentian asked. We have always been paying attention to news of young Master Qin. The people from the Thunder God Hall and Snowdrift Sage Hall are searching this area. Cheetah spoke. Chu Qingyi stared at these experts who were extremely respectful to Qin Wentian. She knew how tyrannical and terrifying the combat prowess of this tribe was. Why would they be so respectful to Qin Wentian? In the eyes of Chu Qingyi, Qin Wentian seemed to be more and more mysterious. Let's return to the central region of the sky-connecting realm. There's no need for them to search anymore. Qin Wentian smiled. After that, the group of them continued on their way. In the sky-connecting immortal rock region of the sky-connecting realm, many experts gathered once again. Just like before, Qin Wentian used the stone pillar to inform Leba and the others. After receiving the news, the experts from the Snowdrift Sage Hall and Thunder God Hall all rushed over. When Leba saw Qin Wentian standing together with Chu Qingyi, Leba's expression turned exceptionally unsightly to behold. Everyone knew that he, Leba, was pursuing Chu Qingyi. However, Qin Wentian had held Chu Qingyi hostage for such a long period of time. Chu Qingyi was also a rare beauty. Anyone would think in a certain direction. This was especially so since Qin Wentian was doing this for revenge. Would he give up the chance to humiliate Chu Qingyi? Qin Wentian could sense Leba's rage. Before he trampled on Leba in the future, he could only use this method to deal a blow to Leba. Qingyi, no matter what he did to you, it is merely an illusion of the sky-connecting realm. The humiliation you suffered, I will definitely repay it for you tenfold, 100-fold. Leba solemnly spoke, as though reminding himself that everything in the sky-connecting realm was fake. Holy Maiden Qingyi was still as pure as ice and as pure as jade. Maybe, he still had a trace of hope in his heart that Qin Wentian didn't do that sort of thing to Chu Qingyi, although he felt that the possibility of this was very low. There's no need. Chu Qingyi faintly spoke, her words causing Leba to stiffen. After that, under the gaze of Qin Wentian, Chu Qingyi's beautiful eyes flashed with a smile as she stared at him tenderly. She actually hugged his arm and spoke in a gentle voice, I'm already his woman. When this voice landed in his ears, Qin Wentian only felt his eardrums buzzing. He cursed in his heart. This holy maiden Qingyi of the Snowdrift Sage Hall was actually a perverted masochist? Staring at the holy maiden of the Snowdrift Sage Hall, Chu Qingyi, blissfully snuggling up to Qin Wentian, the surrounding spectators all had looks of disbelief in their eyes. As for Leba, it was as though he was struck by the lightning he was proficient in. He was instantly petrified, unable to breathe.